We sure do. All right, here we go. It's Core, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
Zelda, we rely on your knight, and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to Core. We talk about video games here. The news, we talk about issues, topics around video gaming, all that sort of stuff. We just had a raucous music-based pre-show for patrons. So if you're a Patreon supporter of the show, you got a lot to hear this week.
I mean, it was like the main topic, but we didn't do it on the show because
No.
didn't have anything to do with video games.
55 minutes of music talk that's not a part of the show.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the question. And just to let people know, because they may want to sub, to find out, we will tell you the topic was at the great perfect albums.
Yeah.
And,
We had suggestions, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only ours, but you should tell us yours because there's a lot of great suggestions in the chat.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to hear yours. So that was a lot of fun. Also, for some reason, I didn't think of this at the time, but John brought up Shrek. John, I want to play something for you real quick.
Okay, great.
Somebody went and did an edit of Shrek where they only kept in any time somebody used the word E or a pronunciation of something sounded like E. Okay. Once again, proving that Shrek is the most memeable thing and for no good reason. But I thought you'd like it, so here's just a taste of it. Now, my favorite part of that, there's a lot more of it. It's about 3.5 minutes is how that movie works if you cut everything out except the E's. Is you could tell when Smash Mouth kicked in.
Yes, there was too much Smash Mouth in that, and that's my big takeaway from what you just played. I was like, ugh. Even in this version, there's too much Smash Mouth in this.
There is too much Smash Mouth at that stage of the thing. Anyway, I thought you'd like this. Also, I learned something yesterday that I had to share before we get to our main topic today, and that's this. Did you know that the PlayStation controller buttons, the circle, the X, the triangle, and the square, they mean, respectively, yes, no. So circle's yes, X is no. A viewpoint, one's head or direction for the triangle. And finally, for the square, it means a piece of paper, which is doubles for menus or documents. I didn't know that.
What source?
I still don't think people know that. This is some
This was on
420. Hey,
I could see.
You ever really thought about a PlayStation controller?
No, there's a whole. I found a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
I found a whole bunch of stuff on it.
No.
Let's see.
What's the triangle and the square? Well, triangles like a head.
But have you ever seen
a piece of paper? Man.
Yeah. I promise you, these are it's all tons of. I can cite many sites. Here's one, but there's many. Mary Sue is pretty reliable, and they had a whole thing on it, and they explained the whole thing. And it's this Japanese thing. They had these plans to really shake up the way controllers worked, but really all it did was make us go, oh, okay, X for main things and attack with the square. The circle goes back.
These UI guys are crazy. Have you followed any UI guys on Twitter?
Oh yeah, it's insane.
They're smoking different stuff. They're
yeah,
they're just it's a button. Let me get through my menus. And they're like, it's a serene landscape of acceptance when you click this button.
Think about it. If you're a UX designer, you probably have to get real precious with it, right? Because that's your job.
Wine or coffee, right? This wine has an aroma with a nutty aftertaste.
Yeah.
It's like this X button is delicate.
I think there's something to that,
but with gentleness.
I could be wrong, but I think they have to be, even if they don't need to be, they still feel like they have to be precious about it. But I just thought that was fascinating because in my head, I'm just like, well, they went with shapes because that's different than XY, Nintendo's case was XY on top.
In America, it's different because X is yes here.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. So it changes.
Really?
Wait, X is yes? How's that right? Is that right?
Well, because in Japanese video games, you press circle to confirm typically, but in American video games, you press X to confirm usually.
Yeah.
X in this case would be a negative. But you think of it, any game you're playing PlayStation, it's press X to continue, right? So that would be the affirmative. It's because it's backwards here. But if you play a If you play a Japanese game where they have not remapped the controls, circle is going to be your affirmative.
Okay, fair point. So what was Nintendo thinking with the opposite? Making B is back. Well, maybe that makes sense.
No, I think the Nintendo. I think that Genesis was they had A, B in their NES.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we could add C and D, but a UI guy was like, C and D are aggressive letters, man. X and Y is like the X and Y chromosome. It's life. Let's do that. And they're like, oh, good idea. Here's $100,000 million for your great design.
Nailed it. I think you're probably right on that. Well, anyway, It's a nice little fun fact. Go read up on it, folks at home. But now this. It's our big discussion topic of this week, and we'd be lying to you if we told you we thought this week was just filled with breaking gaming news, because it isn't. It's a quiet week.
No,
Games are delayed.
Just none of us wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, we have some of it later.
We can summarize it in like a minute. Hang on, here we go. Games are delayed.
Yeah.
Lots of crunch.
Yeah.
Lots of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
There's new games coming out. They look great.
Yeah.
And some streamers did some bullshit yet again on Twitch.
There you go.
You missed one detail. Some new games are coming out. They look great unless they don't, and they're awful, and they're going to ruin the industry.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to make crazy harebrained assumptions about products we haven't fully vetted yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Both sides. Anyway, it's we have some of that coming up later. We'll get to it all, but we thought instead.
And guess what? We're going to probably have those discussions on future episodes, but I think we were all just feeling a little burnt out on it.
Yeah. Do you know how fatigued I am on a game got delayed? I'm pretty fatigued on that,
I mean, I don't think everyone looks like I have RSS feeds on Feedly, right? So I see, even if I don't read the articles, I check pretty much daily because we do this show just to be prepped.
Sure.
And the number of articles I've seen in those categories, I'm just like, it's a Monday.
Just a slow week for stuff, but that may change next week. We got some new releases and some other stuff popping. I mean, there's some things that happened this week that I'm really excited about, but we played those games, and we'll talk about them in the games we played. But let's kick this off with an email. I got an email that seems about perfect for something Bo said, suggested in our Discord earlier, and it fit really well. I'm like, well, you know what? Let's do this. So I'm going to play this email in the form of a voiceover. This is from someone named Don P. in our community, and he has this to say.
Hey there, Love Core. I'm an older gamer, and I am kind of new to some of the more internet-centric aspects of gaming. I was wondering if you guys could help me out with something specific. I'm interested in game streaming services, and I was hoping you could give me some insight into the different options out there as a newbie. I know there's Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and now Kick, and probably more that I haven't heard of. Do you have enough experience with each of these to make a hard recommendation? Any other services you would recommend? Who pays out the best? Who has the best tools? And maybe, where is the best vibe as far as community goes? Any information you could share would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much, and keep up the great work.
Okay. Thank you, Don P.
Great voice.
I think I got the gist of that, although I'm not going to lie, I was 100% distracted by the voice.
Is this guy like not a doctor, but just plays one on TV? Or
no,
the guy
this
from
is
The
Scott
Simpsons?
put an email into a reading program, right?
I did.
Troy McClure.
I did.
That way.
It's this new AI assisted voice thing I use for stuff, and that voice is technically trained on Scott Fletcher, but it's not a very good Fletcher.
Oh yeah, it has
trained.
notes of Fletcher.
There are notes, especially this.
Hey there!
That part.
No,
there.
that's-
Well, at that part, I was
Totally.
like, but wait a minute, his name's not Don P.
Yeah, I went and I just wanted to make it a little more, I don't know, silky and smooth.
When you spill nuts in your pants, it's the morning stream.
There you have it. Wow. So he's got a good question though. I think we just make a lot of assumptions now that, hey, there's a bunch of people gaming on Twitch, and usually you think of that first, and then you go, well, yeah, YouTube as well, and then I guess Facebook gaming exists. These are just sort of afterthoughts or things we think about here and there. This new Kick service, we can talk about some. I know Bo's poked his nose in over there a little bit to see what's what. I did as well. Bo found a lot more shit than I did in terms of like where they came from.
I found drugs mukbang over there.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on.
And I've been back too. I found like a party where people were, I don't know.
What were they doing?
Well, it was like they were hanging out and saying, I don't want to say dumb stuff. We were all 21s, but it was like a 20-year-old cool cool kids hangout. It was very lame. I was just like, I watched it for 5 or 10 minutes, and I was like, I guess this is what, back in the day, the cool kids didn't touch a computer. Now they sit in front of their laptop and go like, "Who's the hot girl in high school, man?" It's like, anyone here ever banged another dude? No, not me, not me.
Yeah.
Well, I banged another girl one. Just like that kind of stuff where it's like, they're in their 20s, they're having their fun conversation, and they're being cool, but. Like, this is what Kick is.
Was there a
like,
lot of watching? Was there a lot of viewers for that, or was it kind
Yeah,
of?
I think it was like 1,000 or something like that. It was definitely the top. So, we don't want to turn this into Kick because I think just Kick is a hot topic in the streaming space right now. But yes, Kick is the new kid on the block.
Yeah, and it seems to be getting some traction. I mean, there have been some notable folks leaving Twitch to go there, and that's given them a little bit of a bump.
It's funded by stake.com,
Right.
which is crypto casinos.
Right.
Because it was banned. Like gambling isn't, I don't know if it's fully banned on Twitch. I think you can still do poker, but like straight up gambling at casinos, gaming, banned on Twitch for sure.
Yeah.
And like I don't think they're banning backgammon, but backgammon's technically a gambling game. But,
Sure. I think you can play like video game there are games like casino
It's not really
slots.
about the game. It's
Right.
about you're not allowed to gamble. is
Right.
what it
Yeah,
comes down
they don't
to.
want casinos operating it because in the casinos they pay the streamers. The streamers don't lose anything, so they're gambling, and they're not. It's not even affecting their bottom line. Like they're staked. They're literally staked by the casino.
Right.
So, anyways, there's a number of other things that are happening on Twitch right now, which is just they're actual legitimate criticisms.
Right.
So the kind of frustrating thing about Kick is it's backed by crypto casinos, and all those people that kind of just want to exploit people are there. It's less draconian about the sexy stuff,
Yeah.
and like I don't mind that as much on Twitch. But
Their
Twitch is taking a stance on
leading
it.
streams on Kick are like,
There's a whole category. Bikinis and pools are like the second most. Like it's just they're like this is a category here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're doing that right. Porn, but I don't think they're banning people to the same extent who show porn on their channels by accident. I know a big streamer just completely streamed porn on one of their channels, as well as the NFL, the Super Bowl, which
shouldn't be
that's a
doing
problem.
It's a little bit more Wild West over
that's
there,
a
right?
that's a problem. Yeah, so but disruptors are good for the industry. Competition is good. So, yeah, trying to get organized on this question for the viewer. You probably don't want to start on Kick, maybe, unless you're feeling very adventurous.
The one thing they do offer, and there are, of course, all the gaming categories are there. And if you went and looked at Kick and squinted and didn't pay attention to logos, you'd swear you were on Twitch. They really aped the design from Twitch, like almost 100%. It's a little crazy. I went and even made an account so I could see what the tools were like. The dashboard, all the buttons, how they're described, all that stuff, very Twitch-like, like straight out of the box. Which, whatever, take that for whatever it is. But they lifted it. Maybe not code, but they definitely took their design and ran with it. They supposedly pay out something like 94% of revenue earned will go to you, and they only get 4 to 5 or something. Which sounds insane, but they claim that they've got it all figured out and that they can do that. So that's a massive difference between the 50-50 that Twitch does right now or the 70-30 YouTube. Nintendo doesn't do it.
Nintendo.
I don't know why I said
50-50 now for everyone on Twitch?
Twitch is 50-50, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they were ever...
70-30 on YouTube.
Yeah, 70-30 on YouTube.
I think Kick is also boasting better discoverability, which is kind of an issue across the platforms.
Yeah.
I think Twitch gets criticized for it more. But I mean, like, there's pros and cons to all of them, right? Like, yes, Kick is backed by crypto and gambling, but Twitch is backed by Amazon.
Yeah.
It's certainly not a company well known for universally great business practices.
If you want to look for holes in the boat, all three of these boats, Nintendo,
YouTube,
Nintendo, why does it
backed by
Nintendo?
Google.
Yeah, Google. Once again, YouTube and Google. Like it depends on your appetite for each of those categories and how you're feeling about the way they're doing business. But
it also feels they're feeling a little more like settled frontiers too, because I think all of us here sort of rode the wave of the initial growth and excitement of both YouTube and Twitch.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Where it felt like there was lots of opportunity. You know, when new services come about, people are discovering things. I feel like they're very much incumbents now, and they have that reputation. They're starting to shift to that like reputation of being like the status quo. And so what I feel like happens is a lot of the people who've achieved a lot of success now sort of have a stranglehold because there's no new frontiers to break. And you know, it's something to consider, right? Like it's hard. Like I've been streaming on Twitch for a decade, maybe not to the amount that I need to do it. I don't know if like there's certainly I can take feedback or criticism about, you know, the strategy and what my reasonable expectations are for discoverability. But Twitch has done, even though I've worked for Twitch, like, you know, worked with Twitch, I've earned revenue for Twitch, I provide value to the service. They have done absolutely zero, you know, to even put me on the channel one time out of, you know, 1,000 times I've streamed or anything like that. Like, the most I've gotten is I think I've crawled to the top a few times of the Heroes of the Storm category, which is nice, but you know, the only people that are nice to me on there are you guys and Brian Dunaway and a few other, you know, Jocelyn's dropped by a few times, you know, like, you know, the people in the Frog Pants community who come and, you know, drop in raid or do host. But
it's very community-based growth.
if there's creator tools, I feel like there's I feel like these places have in-groups, basically. Like, you know, just like any other organization or structure, the top earners begin to form a cartel. They become friends or business collaborators, form a cartel, and
they do.
It's kind of hard to get attention, but you know.
It is. Now, if this person, you didn't go into it, but if Don's goal is to just get out there and stream his time in whatever game and have some fun and you know, just even chat with one or two people or whatever as a kind of as a communicative sort of engagement experience or whatever, you're going to do great. It'll be fine for you to go to Twitch or YouTube or really any of them, and you'll find that. But if your goal is like, I want to build a small little nest egg every month and I want to build that up and, you know, make $1,000, $2,000 or whatever, that sort of thing is going to take probably a lot more time, and the discoverability, like Bo says, is a problem. This is a little bit like podcasting. I was lucky enough to start very early when I did, and when I did, that kind of cemented me as a early adopter of a thing, and that worked out good for me. But I'll never see the numbers that somebody like a popular comedian who, you know, or former talk show host, like, you know, I like what's his name? Joko. I can't think of his real name. What's wrong with me?
Bill Burr?
No.
Joko.
Took over for Letterman when Letterman left NBC.
Conan O'Brien.
Why'd I say Joko? I guess I don't know what it is. Anyway,
there's some Courtney Hole happening here.
Got some Courtney Hole happening. But anyway, he has a show now, and you don't just go. You're not Conan O'Brien one day, and then a nobody on podcasting the next day.
No, of course not.
You're huge because you drag an entire fan base that is million strong with you, and you start out running like that. And that's true of a lot of those guys. If you're just somebody who wants to get going, it's a lot harder. Nobody knows who you are. You're not relevant to them in any way. You got to build up something. It's freaking hard. And that's no different, I think, than trying to do something fresh on Twitch now or YouTube or anything else for that matter. It's hard.
Keeping those expectations reasonable is important because, like, you can. I have some frustration. I think Scott's tone also underlies a bit of frustration. The other aspect to this is, like, we're also the top 1%. Like, if you go on, like, Social Blade or one of those sites that aggregates, like, where you stand with your metrics.
Right.
Or I can't remember. I think it was even information from Twitch. I was talking about Jocelyn Moffat from Angry Chicken and, you know, the Frog Pants community. And, you know, even though we're like enviable, right? Like, it sucks for me to complain. It's like I average 20 to 30 viewers on my streams. That's like not enough to quit my job and do the streaming.
Yeah.
But I'm the top 1%. I'm also in the top 1% and kind of an asshole for complaining about it.
I was going to say, I thought I actually did hear that if you regularly have 30 people in your stream, you're in the top 10% on Twitch.
Oh yeah.
That's what I
think it's less.
It
it's like 1 or 2%. Like, honestly,
it's insane to think about. But, and I mean, we're fortunate in that way too, is like, even though we can sit there and go, oh, we don't get insane numbers, like we go with an audience. Like we aren't starting at zero and hoping somebody jumps in. but it is a pool that everybody wants to play in. It's very easy for everybody to play in, and it's extremely hard for a lot of people to be successful in.
Yeah.
I think if you just want to get your content out there and you just want to say, like, let me do it, I think, like Scott said, all three are really good. If you're looking at growing something, my advice would be, I think YouTube is great for people that are already doing video content. This is what Kyle and Garrett did.
Yeah.
They were making videos regularly on YouTube, and they shifted that into a live stream audience that was already built in from their video content, and it grew from there. I think YouTube works really well in that way. I don't think Twitch has as organic of a way to do it besides just regularly stream and hope you get discovered, which discoverability is a bit rough. And I don't know about Kick. Kick is just starting. You might be able to be, you know, like in early, getting more attention than you would otherwise. I think if I had it to do all over, if I didn't feel like I already had a bit of an audience on Twitch, and even still, I think I said this on a stream not long ago, I would be considering switching to YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, as somebody who stops by Bo's channel, and I paid him for like months and months as a sub,
Thank you, by the
that
way,
he
for,
didn't
like,
that
the
he
2
didn't
years
do
subscription.
anything on. Yeah, I've been a Bo sub for a long time, even when I wasn't going, and like it happens with Bo's channel all the time. I'm like, oh, what's he streaming? I click, and I get like, here's a 15-second ad, and it's like, well, I just wanted to see what Bo was doing, and I close it. Or
Yeah,
I had this happen where
are terrible.
Bo was talking, and I'm watching him, and he's like, and here's the best part. And then an ad started, and I was like, well, I guess I'm never going to know what the best part was, because that's literally where it shows the ad break. I have a lot of frustrations with Twitch. I think if I had to do it over again, I would probably do YouTube.
How does YouTube do that with ad breaks? Because they do that as well. How do they have a different way of determining where to break it, or is it like the?
I think
because live streams get ad breaks over there.
Ad block use is prevalent, but I think with that, I'm just speaking for myself. I'm a YouTube subscriber. I haven't seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually don't know, because I haven't seen an ad on YouTube ever.
Oh yeah. They may be more egregious, actually, but they do give you a straight line to get rid of ads, which
Twitch say you
not.
Still get to skip ads over there.
Oh, well, yeah. If it's a 15-second ad, though, you have to sit there for the 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you ad block, okay, that's one way. The other way is to pay the $10 a month for the thing.
Yeah, I don't know what what it I think really comes down to is it's the lack of control over it. Like on Twitch, when they drop, like I don't want anyone dropping on the channel to get an ad right away, because when that happens to me, like, oh, what's this streamer doing? Ad. I click away and click on someone else's channel. I do that 100% of the time, unless it's somebody I want to visit, like you guys, or I'm usually like, oh, who's this? Oh, ad. Okay, too bad for them, and they'll never visit again. So
sure,
I think
issues.
That happens a lot. There's a lot of stuff. It's just really ram packed with ads right now.
So I never get Twitch ads. I must be using a ad blocker that just I never get ads when I'm on Twitch.
Yeah, if you're not subbed and you don't get ads, there used to be a turbo. I don't know if it exists anymore. I don't think so, right?
I think they got rid of that. But
yeah,
I think my browser is just good at blocking ads on this and any other. I never get ads anywhere.
Yeah, and it depends on the channels too. I think if you're a partner, you have a bit more control over it.
Oh, do it maybe.
Yeah, I think you have a level of control with it.
Does it mean I can have people on my streams get less ads?
You are partnered, right? Scott?
I am partnered, but does that mean I can make settings that will give my viewers less ads? Because I'd love to do that.
There is a toggle in the dashboard somewhere where you can space them out between 30 minutes to an hour, and then you can it's not fully adjustable. Like, I'd get rid of the whole thing and want to run them manually.
Yeah.
But it won't let me do that. But the pre-roll ads, like for when they drop in or hit the stream, those are the worst ones because that affects discoverability.
Yeah. Good point.
But
I do.
Yeah, there's some controls in there. But the thing they're doing right now is they're incentivizing you. If you put lots of ads in, they promise to give you like higher CPM or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's also tiered pricing. And the reason why I mention it is because, like, big time creators, I'm proud of their work. They deserve their success. But there's a lot of, like, we count in the middle tier.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't necessarily need to make millions of dollars. They might just be happy getting some beer money for their hobby.
Right.
that's where something like Kick giving more money, because if you have 100 subs, it's like 500, not $500, but 95% is like what, 495?
Sure.
Or 450, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, too late for math, but it's a lot more sustainable than like getting half of it taken away and only having 250 for your efforts. So
Right.
I don't know.
Well, the good news is you got choices now. I still think Microsoft should have given Mixer one more year. I think they got weird too soon. If they'd known the pandemic was going to happen, I think they would have held on to Mixer, because suddenly everybody was online doing stuff. They just launched a new console and Game Pass and all that. Mixer could have been a contender, especially in light of problems you're seeing everywhere, including Twitch and YouTube in terms of internal issues. So I kind of wish they would have hung around and Mixer was one of your options. There's also Caffeine. There's also, I don't know, half a dozen others.
Yeah, Caffeine's out there. It's really, it's like a nightclub. You want to go to the place that's popping. You don't want to go to the place that has two people. And that's, YouTube and Twitch do have the lights on the brightest.
Yeah, in the case of live streaming, Twitch is still dominant in terms of converting from, like John was talking about earlier, converting from video on demand and streamability. YouTube has an advantage there, big time. And the split's better.
I feel like if YouTube did it smart, YouTube should be able to destroy Twitch. Like, it's kind of ridiculous that they can't. Their video player is so much better. There's something so incredible about being on a live stream and somebody walks in and I hit pause and that live stream pauses, and when I hit play, it doesn't go to live. It just keeps playing, and I can scrub forward if I want, and I can do whatever I want with it. Twitch clips are awesome. It's super fun to share, except they don't embed and play anywhere. You have to go and actually log into Twitch to see them. Yeah. And that's stupid. That's ridiculous. Like, there's so many things that Twitch does that kind of gets in its own way. Like the VOD system for Twitch is really bad. Mm-hmm. And it's just not ideal, but it is still the thing that people associate with video game live streaming. And I feel like if YouTube could figure out a better way to do it instead of what they've done in the past, which is just like, we're going to rebrand. And it's like, no, just
do a better job.
you just got to do some other stuff, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it could really eat Twitch's lunch in that regard. So
Twitch has the cultural currency. Like
that's
it's
the
really
word I was
the
looking
culture
for.
there, the memes. Like they have YouTube doesn't do, like Google doesn't do social very good. Like they had their G+, like they're not going to do social. They're never going to be great at social. Twitch is better at social, but they're not pushing that envelope enough now. Like the situations at Twitch feels like how it is on Twitter, where like I want to leave Twitter, but I don't have a place to go. I want to go where everyone else is going and leave his Musk's personal subreddit where he changes the logo to a dog. Even though I haven't blocked, he's still like affecting. It's his house.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us want to leave, but we just don't have a place that is like text-based distributed messaging. I know you're experimenting with Substack, Scott.
Yeah, Substack Notes so far is pretty cool, but it's also a little bit like this problem where there's a culture around Substack already that is about long-form reading, and it's a little bit more of an educational place to be. It's less about, look at this hot dog I found. It's just not the same as the stupidity of Twitter.
Hell yeah, show me the hot dog.
So in some ways, actually, I think it might be a new great place to be, but it's not the replacement I'm looking for. Not yet, anyway.
But we're in a holding pattern, it feels like. And I feel like Twitch is like that. Kick is a disruptor. I feel like it might be disreputable and not a good play. That's my sense of.
That's my take as well. Yeah, I was kind of excited at first because I like.
Now that said, it doesn't mean you can't ride that wave, right? Especially if you're just starting. I feel like there's a weird middle ground. If you're just starting, or if you're extremely well established and have an audience that'll follow you wherever you go, there's no harm in jumping into Kick and being like, let's see what it does. Especially if the payout's better. Get your money, get your eyeballs, take advantage of it, and then when it go somewhere else. Like it's pretty easy.
I worry about the collateral, like the reputational damage of when shit comes out about people. I mean, I don't worry about. Maybe it's like a concern that's I'm not popular enough to have that kind of concern or whatever, like that kind of thing. But I'm like, I don't know, man.
Well, like
I
when the
work,
shit hits the fan, are you the person that's streaming on the platform
yeah,
where shit really hit the fan?
when you find out that pedophiles run the place, and it's like, well, great, I was, a face on there. Like I don't know, I feel skeezy right off the bat, and I don't like it.
Yeah, there is something about it over there I don't like either for the same reasons.
There's
but
something about nothing's for free, and it's like, yeah, come on over here, we'll give you 95%. You won't regret it. Like there's a complete element. So I would personally, I'm waiting on Kick, and I'll kick myself if it's the next hot thing that I didn't get in early or something.
Oh, hey, we've all done it. My dad had the option to invest in Gatorade early and did not take it.
One thing coming down the pipe for these things in the future, though, that I want to get here is stream quality. I've paid a lot of money to have a good computer to stream games, and that's a success. I can stream VR games. I can play them at 1080p, max graphics, and not have any hiccups. Than my 15-year-old computer that was literally poised to explode when I tried streaming high-end games. It's been nice, but goddamn, the quality on Twitch is it only accepts a max bit rate of 6,000 or 7,000.
That's something
So you want to do 6,800, leave some room for audio, but first-person games and stuff, there's a lot of artifacting on the stream with high pixel change. And
watch anybody stream Vampire Survivors.
Oh my gosh, it's ugly. It's so ugly.
Yeah, and so there's a new I don't know if you want to call it a codec or what they call it, like an encoder, like this AV1 that is supposed to compress better and provide better results in YouTube. I think the word is YouTube will be first to roll this out, and that Twitch is sitting on their hands. But I haven't seen it on YouTube yet, but it's coming any day now.
Well, that's interesting. See, that's quality's a big aim for me. So when I hear that,
I want to move to YouTube, not for any other reason other than I want the best. I want my stream to look as much 1-to-1 as what I'm doing online.
Yeah.
I want to provide a good quality. I just like that. I don't know if it does anything for me, but I hate when I go back look at my VOD to see how it went, and it looks like
mud.
Computer barf.
Yeah, same deal here. I would like to up that game. I'm running at about 6,800 actually right now. But it won't look. It's still not going to look as good as what I'm seeing in real time.
Omega 9X is telling me get some hardware. If there's going to be AV1 hardware, that's different. But I've got a 12 core.
Yeah, they're going to let us do it with software.
I have no bottlenecks, and I can probably stream in 20,000 bit rate. I can do movie quality on my system.
Sure. At some point, is something is good enough? Like if I feel like 1080p, for example, in terms of playback, especially on the internet, it has established itself as good enough. 4K is enticing, but it's just kind of hard to tell the difference in streaming, and people don't care that much. They're looking on their phones, or they're not really getting the 4K anyway. So, but I do know that on the lower end, quality wise, Twitch is not. They're not quite there, which is a real bummer because I kind of really thought when Amazon took over, they would have certainly the pockets for it, but some of the tech and the back end of the internet's back end of AWS and all these other things in play that would have made them immediately more competitive in the space. And in some ways, it feels like all they did was really just make contracts with high-end streamers, and kind of that's it. They haven't really done that much else. The tools are all kind of old. There's not a lot of innovation happening. So I don't know. I didn't, obviously Don may not want this much detail level stuff, but if you're just looking to stream and get started, my answer would be this. If you're already up over there on YouTube and you're doing stuff there anyway, just stream there. You're good. If you aren't doing anything at all, maybe start here. Kick I would avoid. Caffeine's okay, but no one goes there. So there's also a critical mass problem going on right now, and that's why Twitch can get away with lower quality and less tools because they're the elephant in the room, and it's kind of hard to compete with that. Which I wish wasn't true on the internet. I wish things like Facebook weren't as dominant and Twitter wasn't as dominant, and it would be easier for more people to go other places. But this must be human nature. We all want to go where the cool shit's happening. And
Well, yeah, it's like you're at a party. You can tell the party sucks now, and it's winding down, but nobody has told you where the party's moving to.
right.
You know, the
Feels
real
like that.
party's moving to. And nobody wants to be stuck at the lame party, but nobody also wants to go to another lame party. You want to go where the cool party is.
Yeah. That's just
I have
people. Yeah.
question for you about the party. This is on topic to what John's saying, but I don't have much experience, but I'm very curious. I'm almost like, am I even supposed to bring this up on the show, or am I ruining things? But Discord streams. So Discord is like the disruptor and all this. The thing about Discord is discoverability. It's it's not echo chambers, but it's closed off chambers. But I've been to a number of channels where a content creator is streaming for others, various things. A lot of it not TOS potentially, like movie watches and stuff. And also, why wouldn't I just stream my game on my Discord server to my viewers? Like, I don't know how I get new ones, but the quality can be pretty decent on there. Like, is that?
No, it can be. You just aren't going to get any revenue for it, or you're not going to get direct revenue for it.
Yeah.
Right. So you're direct revenue and zero discoverability. But you're not wrong on the technical side. Like, we do a thing on TMS where if you're a patron supporter, we have a private room where we watch some kind of movie or TV show every week. We call it TMS Couch Party. And if you want to go, you can go. You get in. There's a limit, though. There's I think you can only have 50 people or 25 or something. That's a factor we'd have to consider. You can't do 50,000 people watching a Discord stream. But they'll watch, like, we're watching the second half of Thor Dark World tomorrow because I'd never seen it. And and we're doing it in there, with our own eyes, without the prying eyes of anybody with a TOS. I mean, I don't know if we're really breaking too many deals here or not. But I guess what I'm saying is that is absolutely a viable way to connect with people you want to connect with. Like,
I mean, it's not public. It's a couch. It's a living room.
Yeah, kind of a virtual living room is
like
the way I look
a
at
lot
it.
of this IP stuff. We've kind of just settled in a certain spot. But the idea behind live streaming too is just that you're hanging out. Like this stream, you're just hanging out with three dudes on a call who like hanging out with each other. Like, it's not live from ABC Studios and wherever the hell the studio is. It's just
It's a very different paradigm now, and I find this stuff fascinating. I mean, obviously, there are going to be a few of you. I guarantee you'll get emails going, man, you guys didn't talk about video games for a long time on today's episode. I thought this was a video game show. And they'll send me a gif of Jeff Goldblum doing his, you are going to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour. And they're going to send me that. I just know it.
Yeah.
But I
to
think
me,
this
is at the crux of gaming.
I agree.
Like,
I agree. I don't think modern gaming is a discussable topic if you're going to leave this huge piece of the pie out. This is a massive part of what gaming is now.
at least not for marketing.
Right.
No one's gonna say no to a streamer playing their game. Look, I don't think a lot of people are gonna watch Wartales streams, but
This is what killed E3, people.
but
When you're wondering why E3 isn't around, streaming is what did it. If you're wondering why video game magazines aren't around anymore,
The internet.
this is it. The internet. This is
Welcome.
what it's about.
Welcome to the biggest disruptor
we're
in the
doing
history
it.
of man.
We've replaced the magazines rather than writing the dumb shit. We're saying the dumb shit.
You know why there aren't any cool shows about video games that are just on the air on the radio?
Because we killed them all. We're so
Because
good.
we killed them all.
We murdered them. This is it.
Yeah.
And we
I don't want to bring it
stand
up.
around till someone murders us.
That's
This is
right.
getting dark, but that's the reality. Like this is what we're in. Video game companies rely on influencers, whether you think that's a good idea or not, more than mainstream media these days. Like that's just the reality. So
Yeah, and I
it is
think-
video game news.
I think a lot of people who are popular, there's your favorite rapper's rapper.
Sure.
Like, you might like Jay-Z, but Jay-Z really likes Talib Kweli.
I
And
don't know
you're
who
like,
that
the
is.
hell is Talib Kweli? Yeah, exactly.
I was
But
hoping
if you're
you'd
just
say like
who does my favorite rapper really like, and listen to that. I think our show is our favorite rapper's rapper because I see stuff that go out in the zeitgeist that we talk about first here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just like, we break stuff here. We have good ideas, and then I see those good ideas in my algorithm.
It's a
happen after
little
we've talked about
too
it.
a
And
little too on the nose, huh?
I don't know. I'm just saying you're part of an exclusive club because your favorite thing about favorite rapper's rapper is that it's more of a cachet.
Sure.
You don't want to listen to the popular thing. You want to go in the back room and hang out with the cool kids in the back.
Yeah.
That's what we are. The 3 cool kids.
The 3 cool kids. Come hang out. Well, who cares what the teacher says? She sucks anyway. Get back here. Hang out with us.
What's the teacher doing in the nightclub?
Of course, said I don't have to go to school anymore. They probably said other things, but I heard that. So
yeah. No,
burn it
Bo's
down.
right. Bo said nightclub, and for whatever reason, my head went school. Because cool kids in the back, I don't know. I
know.
I don't know why I went there.
It's just funny because I was like, oh shit, the teacher knows I'm here.
Oh no, what are you going to do?
I'm not supposed to be here.
You're not supposed to be at the same club your teacher visits
But,
on Fridays.
I kind of derailed a little bit on what we were saying, and I just.
Well, bottom line is, I think he should go where he's most comfortable. Maybe play with all 3 tools and see what you like. That's
although ironic that all 3 of us were like, yeah, go wherever you want. They're all viable. And then 2 of us went, yeah, YouTube. And then 1 of us went, probably YouTube, maybe Twitch.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
I don't know. Maybe there is an answer hidden in there somewhere.
If I didn't have investment in Twitch, like I have people who have subbed for 24 months and higher. Devastation, Han Sanitizer. Thank you. Every stream, you're always there, without fail.
Yeah, they're your people.
So when I think about, let me go to YouTube, I think about those people. I'm like, well, they like coming to Twitch. Like, I'll stick around here, But if I wasn't anywhere. YouTube, I can make a video page and stream.
Yeah.
I would start there and,
it's
play
tempting.
around.
I wish they had ways of like subs and Prime subs and all that. They don't have anything like that on YouTube. They've got, it's basically ad sharing. That's it. And that's fine. But financially, so if you're worried about the finances of it, take the 2 factors of lots of people are over here, and you're going to get paid and get subbed, and there's bits and all this stuff. Twitch is where you'd want to be.
Which has YouTube has subs now, though.
Yeah,
do they have
YouTube
subs?
Does have subs.
Really?
They have subs and super chats.
Well, when
they have a ton of monetization options. Honestly, the only reason Twitch isn't in the shitter right now is because YouTube cannot, for the life of them, have the culture that Twitch does. Like they could.
The last mile's hard for them. Yeah, they struggle with that.
They're asleep at the wheel. They got the tech. They got a great site.
But hold on, I didn't know they had tiered subs over there. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh well, then, hey Don, do it on YouTube.
Yeah, financially, there's nothing you can't do on Twitch that you can do on YouTube. In fact, it might even be better because you also have the super chat.
And it's also 70-30 split, not 50-50.
Yeah, and the split's better, and the viewer base. There's a larger population.
Week, check out Core live on YouTube, everybody.
Well, no, we did an episode of Core on YouTube. That's why this has been.
We did it because Twitch was down that day, and so we just.
I was pushing for it for this reason, but maybe I didn't express myself clearly. I was like, if people. But no, when we did that move, some people were also, I missed you on Twitch. Like, it's not that easy. We have a lot of people.
It's not
like
as simple, yeah.
We can't just abandon it.
And you know what else is not simple? Streaming to both places. Not that you can't technically do it, because that's possible. The contracts that you are under on either platform forbid you from doing that, and they'll ban you if you do it. So if I stream this show simultaneously here and YouTube, I get banned here for doing that.
You do. John and I were affiliates, I think.
No,
so
we're fine. Even the rules that they tell us is bullshit, because they say, hey, if you do a Twitch stream, don't put it on YouTube right away. I put that shit up on YouTube immediately.
Everyone does. They have to.
Anything.
Because you're messing with people's
Talk to me when you're
workflow.
giving me discoverability. It's like you're going to tell me to do things, but do nothing for me. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
That stuff goes up hours later, and it's there. So
I didn't realize those tiers were there. Don't give me ideas. All right, let's move past this and move on. Thank you for that, by the way. That was awesome. We have one more question for today's patron email. This is Pascal Levesque. He said I was going to screw this up. Did I?
Oh yeah. Whoa, I got to help you with this one.
I
It's
would have
French.
just said
It's Levesque.
Levesque.
Yeah, if
Pascal?
he's a Quebecer, I don't know how French like French francophones might say Levesque. Quebecer, this guy's name here is Pascal Levesque.
Okay, look at you. He's going to be thrilled you got it right. He knew I was going to get it wrong, so there's that. He says,
I got it right.
He asks, does Scott know? Because we talked about Walter White being in a chorecore game, like doing like some kind of meth manufacturing game or something, and how I would totally play that. He says, does Scott know that Walter White is in Drug Dealer Sim? as an actual game. He mentioned Breaking Bad Chorecore game, and I thought of that right away. So I found some video of this game. I hadn't heard of this before. I didn't find the part
There's a
with
drug dealer simulator.
Yeah,
I feel
there are a
like
bunch
Walter
of these.
White's the wrong character for that. He was never a drug dealer.
Well,
Not
that's
once in that entire show was he a drug dealer.
well, sort of. I mean,
No,
that's a
he
Jesse
wasn't a dealer.
Pinkman was a drug dealer. Tuco
No.
Salamanca was a drug dealer.
Spicy
Gustavo
peas, my
Fring was a
signature,
drug
dude.
dealer.
Or chili peas, my signature.
That's right.
There
No
were
more
a lot
chili
of drug
powder.
dealers in that game. That they were never Walter White.
Well, so this joins a number of these chorecore games. There's one called Weed Industry, or Weed Dealer something. There's a bunch of games where you play, in some cases, a very unlawful version of a drug dealer. Sometimes it's like, weed, it's approved everywhere now, and you just farm it, and it's in a place where it's cool and all that. So there's different ones of these, but I'd never heard of just straight drug dealer sim. And this is a game. I might have to check this out. Because,
on the block, like, is it rising from the block? Like, is it like The Wire, sort of?
You start low. Yeah, I think you start low and you work up, and you get bigger and you have a better apartment, and you start to
you become Avon Barksdale.
Yeah, you become Avon Barksdale, which is hilarious because I was just watching Creed for FilmSack, and Avon and whoever Michael B. Jordan played were in that together. It was weird.
By the way, I don't know if you know this because I only discovered it by browsing, but it's Paul Simon, the guy, right, behind it.
Yeah,
he has a mini.
Not Paul Simon, David Simon. Paul Simon's the singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very different show.
Down, and didn't Paul Simon sing, "I was down in that hole,"
Selling drugs. Yeah. Anyway.
No, he has a new show, We Own the Night. It's just a one-season miniseries.
Oh, is that good?
It's got James Barenthal. No, what's his name?
Oh, Big Ears Barenthal. John Barenthal.
John Barenthal. Yeah, John Barenthal as Officer Jenkins.
Oh, and they're
It's
back
great.
in Baltimore.
It's a Paul Simon. I mean, and Andre Simon joint, whatever his name is.
I need to watch it.
Simon joint.
I need to
It's
watch
all
it.
Paul Simon. He's doing a lot these days.
I love The Wire.
Big
so-
recommendation. It's really, it feels like The Wire, but in 1080p.
Sure.
And a different story, but
widescreen.
Baltimore shit,
Actual 16:9 aspect ratio, which is nice. Well, anyway, this thing looks like
Does this
my
game
jam.
take place in Springfield?
I don't know. It sure feels like it. I mean, it looks like this is a rough town. Oh, here he is making his
Springfield,
first deal.
Massachusetts.
He's making
No,
a deal. Look at this
Springfield,
guy.
where the Simpsons live. It looks like
what state
exactly
do the-
Springfield's nuclear reactor.
Oh, it's got a nuke reactor in the background. That's why. I get it.
What state is the Simpsons Springfield in?
Nobody knows. Everyone claims it.
Oh, that's the
It's
thing.
always,
about
That's
it.
the
it's always
joke.
a running
Yeah,
joke.
that's the joke.
Gotcha.
But Springfield, Illinois, they are so sure that they can't stop talking about it. So I don't know why they think they are. But anyway, I would like to play this. So I'm going to find, there's two of these, I guess. There's a sequel. So I'm going to find Drug Dealer Simulator 2 and see if it's any good. And not just,
Is it playable in
Scott's
VR?
gonna break bad, everybody. He's
I just don't
doing
want
it.
I don't want it to be like exploitative trash. I want it to be actually like an interesting game and not just like, yeah, the street. Look at these stereotypes. I don't want that.
You don't want to do the depressing stuff.
I mean, I'll
Like, you
do
just wanna
it.
Deal the drugs and build an outhouse.
Yeah.
But you don't want to
Like, man,
I don't
I'm
know.
not into all the negative vibes around drug dealing. I
Yeah.
just kind of want the positive vibes,
Yeah, I just
making
want the
people
good
feel
stuff.
good. Like, that's all.
Exactly.
No,
Why we gotta
Omar-
bring it down with like money and murder and overdose?
No, Omar Little, please.
Yeah, no Omar. Oh my
like,
gosh.
why we
dude.
gotta put?
Oh,
such a
was that
hamper on
Walter
this?
White?
No, it might have been. See,
Oh,
that's what-
that looked like. That looked
Do you
like
think that
some
was supposed to
Heisenberg
be him?
business.
Let's go back.
Yeah, that was him.
All right. So you pull up.
Oh, he looked a little.
I can't tell. I can't tell.
He doesn't have a goatee, but he's
That's
wearing
it,
the hat.
man. That's Agent 47.
Agent 47 killed Walter White and took his clothes.
Well done, 47. You've now gotten the drugs. Bring them back to base. Yep, I can hear it. Also, looks like the
Go up
police
there and
are.
he just goes, I am the danger.
You have to run from the police in this. That looks like fun. Look at that. You gotta-
Well,
Oh,
some would
shit,
say
it's
that
From
was
the
the pres-
police simulator.
Oh, geez. Look, the cops
Oh,
are
police
here.
search.
They're searching.
What's up with these cops?
Are they?
don't know.
Did they turn their body cams on?
My
yet?
mom said I could wear my sweater to work because it was police colors.
Police
Oh, my
found
Lord.
drugs.
That's amazing. So I'll go do some jail time, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to look into this.
Is it in LA? I heard there's like 600 car chases a year in LA, by the way.
600? That seems low to me in LA.
Oh, yeah? Like
Yeah.
2,000?
LA's, well, I mean, what do I know? I don't actually.
That's crazy.
Sorry,
Sorry,
it's like, hold on.
it made me think because as soon as you see a sign in front of your face that says the police found drugs, I think you're supposed to run.
Yeah, just get in your car and drive.
Yeah, they put me.
was
I
not
just
running.
in the video I'm watching. He just woke up in house arrest or something. And he's save scumming, so he's gonna go load before he got arrested. That's great. Anyway,
If only we had that in real life.
I appreciate the heads up on that. I will definitely check that out because that sounds like fun shortcore to me. All right, let's talk about the games we played this week.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a whole list here. Let's start with Everspace 2, a game I've been singing the praises of for a long time. It finally hit 1.0. Last week we talked a bit more about it. I know John and Bo have now been playing it, as have I. And you already know my feelings. I think this is a great game, and I love it to death, and I barely can stop doing it. I feel like I need to be in there all the time. It's one of those games. I just want to keep playing it. Bo, you had a real beefy week with this game.
My sleep has been so fucked because of because of this game. Like, so bad.
Yeah.
Remember how last week I was like, I don't know if I'll ever game again. Diablo 4 is not out.
Yeah.
I think I might be done, you guys.
Yeah.
Turns out Everspace 2 fit in the Diablo hole like perfect.
More than you thought it
right
would, right?
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just wasn't sure. Everspace, I didn't really. I liked it, but it didn't click with me. I didn't play it much, and I was kind of skeptical that Everspace 2 was going to hold me for as long as it did. And man, is this game just like a Zen thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a different. We talk about ARPGs and the Zen moments here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different kind of Zen. Like, there's a lot of shooting. I've murdered a lot of people.
Yep.
It's one of those things about ARPGs that doesn't make sense. Where it's like I've got a 500 person body count. And still, there are people tougher than me because they are higher level. But some of the zones where you're just kind of cruising around the rock looking for a cloaked container that's going ping, ping, or flying up the exhaust shafts of big derelict carriers to look for buttons to shoot, and this is my favorite part of the game. You pick things up with the nose of your ship. Yep. Like, you're just like, oh, I need a battery. And you're like, bonk. It's not like some long range tractor. You just fly up to it. You're like, I'm gonna take the battery. I'm gonna put the battery in the socket, and you're like, I'm in love. Like, this game is, and it's gorgeous while doing it. Like, the space vistas,
it's beautiful.
Are beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that at some point the content will come to an end. But 50 hours last week.
50 hours, and you're still only 4 systems in or something out of the
4
8
of 7 systems. I thought it was 8, and I was like, no, there's only 7. No.
Yeah.
But I've got as far as the Kate Nebula or Kite Nebula.
Yeah.
But it just keeps on giving. There's lots of side jobs. There's rifts, like high risk. The high risk scenarios you get are basically kind of like mini rifts. Like, they just throw waves and waves and waves constantly at you, and then you fight a boss at the end. And I'm just like, it's fun. And I got my first legendary item, which is a flat cannon that behaved like a legendary. Like, the flat cannon explodes like crazy.
Yeah.
So at level 14 to 20, I was mowing people down, and finally it's getting outclassed. So I'm on the hunt for my next legendary.
Nice. Are you crafting much or messing with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got to get all the perks. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. There's lots of progression options. You want to get the perks. I'm like, you can get legendary tier ships, but I don't know how far you guys are.
I'm pretty far. I've got, this is my second
have you got the
second time through the
OKEK?
game. So when I played it in early access, I got really far, and then early access said, we're done, and you may want to start over because there's stuff we added you probably won't get to see if you don't, and it could crash, and we're warning you. And I went, I'll start over. I love this game, and I'm glad I did. But in this second playthrough, I'm 3 systems in, or maybe 2 systems. Maybe it's 2.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so I'm not as far
I
as you
feel
are.
like
but-
I'm behind both of you, so I will say that storyline wise, the doctor just got thawed, and it was introduced to her.
Okay. That's
So
still a
that's where
decent
I'm
chunk
at.
of game. You're in there pretty far.
It's meaty. Like, we said last week in the ways it was lacking, but the story's serviceable enough that I'm like, yeah, I want to do work for these guys. Like, it's enough. They've put just enough in there to be like, yep, I want to go and do what they ask.
I also think
like,
it's gotten better, and maybe in later development they got better at those at the intervening story bits and the acting. Even that all got better for me. You're
I
right.
think it's definitely better than you guys made it out to be last week. Not to
maybe.
say that it's stellar, but like story for me is a big thing. And when you guys said like, oh, the story, the dialogue, and all that's rough, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be fine. You know what? I want to play a space game. I'm gonna just play it. That's why I pulled the trigger on it. But honestly, I'm enjoying the story and the characters enough that I'm actually paying attention to it.
Mhm.
And based on what I heard last week, I didn't think I would be. So while I agree it's not that great, it's not amazing. It is good enough to where I'm like, no, I want to know what happens, and I do care about these characters and what they're doing, and I am interested in it. So it's not negligible. Like I'm invested in the world. It could certainly be better. Scrap is definitely a shitty space swear word.
I hate it.
But
I hate it because they say
despite that,
shit.
I
They say
think
shit all the
the,
time too, right? When they say shit, I'm like, okay, now just keep saying that. Nope, they got to say scrap.
But it's,
That
I find it's
said,
the
it's
only
good.
blemish. Like it's the only like the use of the word scrap. You know, sort of like their frack from BSG.
Yeah.
It's like I think the only thing that is a little grating. That's it. The rest of nothing else jumps out as particularly terrible. or
No,
egregious.
no. I think I
Adam's a
oversold
little
that.
earnest for my taste, but it's okay. It's not terrible.
Later on, when you get your ship's AI, your ship's AI is like, ugh.
I kind of like it.
Like your ship AI reacts to it, and it gets way better because you're like, time to help. He's like, let me guess, you're gonna want to help people.
Yeah, he
You're
is
like,
very.
yeah.
The AI is awesome. I actually kind of liked it when he briefly turned into a lady voice. You know the part I'm talking about, Bo?
Yeah, I do.
And I went,
Yeah,
can I change? Can I have him talk like that? Because I really like the way she talked. But yeah, it's just a thing the game does.
I don't know. It gets better. Like you get into it. The rest of the game's good enough that it also helps lift it up. You know, like
Yeah.
it's. Yeah, no, it's great. Like I you know, even those little side NPCs, like you'll meet like just weirdos in space stations, and you're like, oh, you're in a desolate area. Why don't you get somewhere civilized? He's like, but I must do scientific research.
Yeah.
No, and you're like, okay then, like just like weird little dudes. And well, I just don't want to spoil things for. It's not really a big spoiler, but there's like a main city hub
Right.
that has like some pretty cool. Like they're not main characters, but like the freelancer agent I like, and
Yeah.
you know the casino guy, like the crime family. You know, it's good. Like it's good.
For the record, no, a lot of these space sims, freelancer-like games that have come out over the years, which I always try out because I'm always looking for the right itch to be scratched. It rarely happens. This one is doing it entirely, but
Very little downtime.
Yeah, those are all very bad at story and character. This is not that. This is a lot better than that. And the actual gameplay, the combat, you know, they stay on the arcadey side of control, so it gets out of your way so you can enjoy everything else you want out of a game like this. I think there's still going to be people who are like, well, if I don't get to use my Hota and my freaking eye tracker and all that, like,
Is it Hota or Hotas?
whatever it is, I don't even know what it is.
I thought there was an S
My
on the end.
Hota.
My Hota, my Hotas. Whatever it is, those people are never going to be satisfied. I don't think, unless Star Citizen suddenly
Well,
gives
they have
them
a
bone.
game. They got Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
You got games.
You got games to play, but
You
I'm.
got hot ass games.
I guess Hota. I was thinking of Horta from Star Trek. Those big pizza ball things.
It's just pictured it's extremely funny to me. I just pictured someone playing the game being like, it's garbage, but my Hota.
My
Like,
Hota.
there's like
My
10 people in
Hota.
chat that was like, excuse me, there's an S on the end of that.
Yeah, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not
Don't
decrying
forget. What does the
it.
S stand for? Why is it so important? Can you just say Hota?
I think it's not.
Well, I don't even know what it stands for.
Is it
like,
plural? Is it?
And- Hands on
I
the
knew
actual
it was
stick.
Hodis, but that's why Hota was so much funnier to me. It's my Hota. I
don't
spent
know.
all this money on my Hota.
I don't know what I was thinking.
oh, it's hands on throttle and stick.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
if you
so-
don't have the S on there, then what else is your hand on?
yeah. You're
Hands on throttle and hands on throttle. Whatever the A stands for. Anus.
penis.
Hands on throttle.
Oh, anus. All right, on your anus.
Hota is that. Hotas is with the stick.
Well, it's all the right amounts of that stuff. I love going to a station and seeing, ooh, new missions. Oh, they got new ships in this shipyard. Okay, cool. Let's see what I can afford. Oh, that one's a badass. It looks like less hull, but boy, 3 weapons on that side instead of 2. I'm in. You know, like these kinds of
Yeah, have
decisions.
you upgraded your ship?
Oh yeah, I've done them a couple times.
What kind of ship did you go with?
I went.
I accidentally did.
I like. I like
You
the
took it
big.
alone?
I'm a big. I like the big fatties. But only
Yeah,
because.
me too.
Yeah, I just like a big hefty ship.
I got a big gunship, like a Liberator. Like it's just the gunship, so it has 3 points.
Yeah. So
And like tons of HP, and it just goes.
Yeah,
like,
and it's not very
maneuverable.
It's less maneuverable, right? But it feels. I don't know what it is about that. Like I'm the opposite in real life with like a car. I like a tiny car. I like a little car. But in my space games, I like a big fat freaking ship. And I did buy a smaller kind of mid-range fighter that I use for just I don't know, just for kicks. Like I want to go do a couple of.
I feel like you need
missions.
to get a racer because there's racing in this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need a racer one because I can only ever get bronze.
Oh,
With the big ship, like I'm trying to race in the Millennium Falcon. Well, that's a bad example.
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon looks
Wrong
like
one.
it shouldn't maneuver well, and somehow it's the most maneuverable ship ever known to man.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I guess in space it's all about they don't have the same resistances, but this game's not so worried about that as they are making sure you have a good 360-degree experience. So this isn't on rails or on a plane like some of those games can be. It really is. You feel like you're really exploring things. You see some wreckage. It's a very good chance if you go up there, thrust up there and look around, you're going to find some shit. And sometimes it's a box full of rares. And you're like, damn, I'm going to replace every weapon I have right now. Like
I want to
love
hear.
it.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just absolutely love this game.
Yeah, the loot cycle's awesome. I love selling. Dismantling is good. You get blueprints from dismantling.
Mm-hmm.
So dismantle your grays and blues. Does it
Is
make
that
sense?
what I should be doing? I just sell them.
You
Yeah,
can.
if you
early
sell
on,
them, that's fine. But you can craft. Items.
I don't know how crafting works. Let me ask you guys this. This is time to tutorial me. There's a crafting tab in this game.
Yeah.
That when you pull it up, it shows a bunch of materials, and clicking anything doesn't do anything.
It's like Diablo. You have a crafting tab where your crafting mats are. It's not in your inventory. It's in like a special place.
Yeah.
So you have a pile of shit that doesn't count towards your inventory.
Okay, so
That's
that's
your
just where
crafting mats.
that's where all my crafting mats
Yeah.
go.
So if you
How do
go
I
to-
actually craft something then?
in the crafting tab, you'll see there's some sub menus where I think you have one for your components, which is just your inventory, and the rest of them are the things you can craft.
Right.
So you have to earn blueprints. You get blueprints by
Does that
dismantling.
unlock at some point? Because I found a ton of blueprints and there is nothing in there.
let's say
Like
let's
it
say
is just materials. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. Is there a story mission where they're like, we're gonna teach you how to craft finally?
Not really. You just kind of have to notice it. I guess maybe I got lucky and noticed it early, but when you hover over an item, it'll say blueprint 0 of 3 on every item. It'll tell you in the tooltip what's your blueprint. So like, let's say flat cannons, you want the common flat cannon. If you press hold the X button in your inventory and dismantle the item, it'll break it down into parts, which will go into your parts bin that you use for crafting.
Right.
And then after you dismantle 3 of them, you will earn the crafting recipe. It'll be there as a recipe you can use.
Right. Right.
And,
to make that item. Right. That
You
is
can
exactly
find
right.
them out in the world, but I don't think you get very many at the start.
Yeah.
I have found what feels like a few, and there's nothing for me to make, and that's the thing that's been weirding me out. Is I've been picking these blueprints up, and every time I go to the crafting tab, it's just here's your stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of sub menus. So maybe it usually marks as new. So usually you follow the yellow highlights, the little yellow arrows, and it'll show you what's new.
Yeah.
It
It did come later for me, and I don't remember if the guy gave me this or something, but at one point he says something, and then when I went into the crafting tab, my weapons and their different quality statuses opened up, so you could go into them and see, okay, to build that version of that, I'm going to need these 3 mats, and then you can track those mats. You can say,
I have the option to track and all of
Right.
that, and I see the breakdowns. I just don't see where to put it together, and that's why I thought maybe it was a story mission, because I have been doing a lot of side stuff. Like I've been going real slow on the story, like getting the Dr. Thawed is as far as I am storyline wise, which still feels very early.
it is.
But I've put a lot of time in the game because I've just been doing side missions and flying around and exploring and doing distress calls. So I've also picked up a lot of stuff. Like I've got about 8 hours in the game, and I haven't progressed the story very far. So I'm not sure how to craft. But
I think you'll figure it out at some point for sure.
I am liking it. I like the game an awful lot. It's not like the only gripes I have, it is making me wish for a like bigger space game. Like I started playing it, I was like, man, if this is what they did with Everspace 2, maybe Everspace 3 would be incredible. Like, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
moments early on in the game where they're like, they land somewhere, and then you get like the still video cinematics of them like having a shootout or something, and I'm like, man, it would be so cool if this was like a mission, right? Like where you were running around and then you run back to your ship and then take off, but they just do it in cinematic. It definitely made me wish that this is how space combat in No Man's Sky worked, because like Scott said last week, like No Man's Sky does a really good job on the like landing on the planets and building bases and exploring ships and all of that on foot. But I don't think its space combat is anything to really write home about. But I have such a fun time with this.
Right.
This game is just really chill, and the only other thing I don't love about the game kind of actually lends itself to the chill vibe, so it's a criticism for me, but maybe it's appropriate. I don't love the soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
I
I had
feel
to turn that
vaguely
off. Yeah.
like there's porn just going on in the other room when the soundtrack's going.
I think it's the drums. I think half the tracks would be improved by getting rid of the just the drums.
I think you're right.
Still like,
The get up into space, like you do the hyper thing up there to then choose where you're going to go next and stuff. It's kind of almost like your overworld map thing. Not your map, but you know what I mean. When you go up there to like, oh, track that and go and stop for a distress call and all that. They play a song there that never changes. It's a that was what forced me to finally turn all that off. And here's the good news. You can turn it off. Obviously, a lot of games let you turn the music off. I would recommend doing that, because when you do that, you get not a replacement, but the whole time there's really cool ambient shit going on that's better than the music that you don't normally hear because of the music.
So play it musicless and just let the space consume you.
Highly recommend that. And it's no offense to whoever wrote their music. I feel bad, you worked hard and everything, but I think it's a better experience without it. 100%. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to tell you that.
Yeah, those are my only nitpicks though. Like, I can't stop playing this game. It's really, really good. It's really scratching. It doesn't even, I know it's hitting that for Bo. It doesn't even feel like it's scratching a Diablo itch. It's just like, it's a callback to this type of game, which I guess I used to play a lot of. I mean, I've got a ton of fond memories of, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and
Freelancer and Privateer.
Yeah, so it's calling back to like that era of gaming in a way that's just, still fun to play. I don't feel like I have to bust out a flight stick or a Hota or a Hotas, depending on whether you have a stick or not, I guess. Like it works. Although I will say I prefer mouse and keyboard controls for this game. That's been a big thing that people have been asking. I did start with controller and I didn't love it. It felt like it was trying to attach too much to the thumbsticks. Like it was like, okay, push down on the thumbstick and then hold left. And I was like, those are two separate actions that you're asking me to do at the same time. It didn't feel very good. And I was like, well, let me just see how mouse and keyboard is. And I very quickly got used to the mouse and keyboard and didn't look back. So I really like mouse and keyboard, but it does seem like the controller controls are perfectly serviceable too. I don't know how you
I actually
guys are
prefer
playing.
them. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I tried both and I ended up really liking controller and stuck with it. So your mileage may vary, but I think
for like menus and stuff. Oh, sorry, Bo. How are you playing it?
I'm mouse and keyboarding main. Yeah.
Okay.
It feels good for me, but I mean, at 50 hours in, so you learn. I think at first it's a little rough, but
yeah, you get the hang. You
get used to the controls are not. It's not Elite Dangerous. Forward, back, shift or control for descend, space for climb, and 1, 2, 3, 4 for your Diablo abilities, and that's great.
Yep.
I say that, by the way, because I don't think you're as far yet, but I have a teleport spell, basically. I literally have
Scroll
teleport.
of Town portal.
A teleport that is upgraded to leave you can choose to leave a mine behind after a teleport, or spin 180 upon teleport to get behind a guy. Like,
Pretty cool.
It's a rune in Diablo. Like, it's the same structure. And then I have a grappling hook where I can fling myself around like
That's pretty cool.
That one is cool. Yeah.
They can what's that game? Bulletproof or bullet hell?
Proof.
Bulletstorm.
Bulletstorm.
Yeah. I've got a grappling hook. You can't use it on enemies, I guess, but you can use it on rocks and just fling yourself like way back. Like, it's like they're like, this isn't a space simulator. It's we're doing fun like
There's
shit with this
some
game.
really cool stuff in there. I found I don't know what the name of the gun is, but it is just a big old cannon that I put on my ship, and I love it because I feel like I've mounted an AA gun to my ship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's really hurting because it is like everything I pick up now is technically better than it. But I love it because I'm still in that at least, and I don't know how long it stays with this, but like every ship I fight has like a couple drones hanging out right next to it.
Yeah.
And what I love about the cannon is it shoots out, and like I said, it explodes almost like an AA gun. So it goes out a certain distance, then explodes, and it'll take out all those little drones that have no HP around the ship immediately.
Mhm.
And those are all just out of play instantly.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, this gun is so good. And I can see its days are numbered, and it just continues to make me sad. I don't want to go back. But
you can improve the
the
guns
weapons
too.
in this
It's
are
a flat,
really good.
It's a flat cannon.
Yeah, flat
it's
cannon.
the flat goes.
And you
It
can
will-
improve those guns. You can like keep building them out so that they're more powerful. Kind of like, I can't think of another game that does this, but where you just
this part of the crafting is you can modify. Yeah, you
Right.
can like upgrade their level. I mean, even you can do that to some extent by reforging in like Warcraft or stuff. Like you can,
similar stuff, to that.
yeah, you can upgrade it, and you can add catalysts to them to give them bonuses. And there's just legendary. Like I'm specced out in all epics right now. I have all
Oh, awesome!
purples. and
That's
my
great.
guns. Like as you level up, you get same loot. That's why it's ARPG-ish. It's the same like progression. Like I'm like blues. Ugh.
The other
I-
good
It's
There
trash.
was a point where I was like, I got a bunch of like common guns, and I was like, am I even entertaining the thought?
yeah.
What I have equipped has bonuses. I don't want to lose bonuses.
Yeah, you want
so-
bonuses. You want to keep those bonuses. The other cool thing is the game is basically Descent half the time. And
Yeah.
Descent is a gigantic gaming memory for me. I love Descent. And it's that. You go inside of a giant asteroid and you're like, all right, we got to go find where these spies are hanging out or whatever. And you go through just labyrinths of tubes, or not tubes, but
I love how
tunnels
we didn't even talk about that. Like just being in asteroids.
yeah, it's great.
It's great. I
great.
love that. I'm like, we get to go on an asteroid. Yes.
Yeah. Half the
Yeah,
time this
it
game is
feels-
Descent,
it
and it's
feels
great.
cool.
Yeah.
No,
It's a real-
fantastic. I want to give a pro tip though on this.
Give it.
In case you guys don't know, or listeners who might. So if you go to your, I guess it's like the codex or data tab. One of those is like an achievement list.
Right.
You'll get Explorer, like the first zone is called Ceto, I think. So there's one for Ceto Explorer. It is worth completing the
Just
list
got that.
because if you complete the list and you do the master task, which is fly close to the sun. It's always fly close to the sun.
Right.
Fly close to the sun, and then you get fast travel, so that when you're traveling between stars and you hold the shift button, because there's a bit of downtime, it might take you 20 seconds, 30 seconds to fly between system to system.
Yeah.
You press shift and boom, 2 seconds.
Oh man.
It is a game changer. You don't got to sit through, stellar travel because there's a bit of downtime. So every new system, I'm like, okay, and it's the same for every system. Filling that out and getting that fast travel. So it's always my priority in a new system. is
Awesome.
need
I did
to-
not know this. I wish I
Yeah.
had known this.
That's why I'm like, pro tip. I didn't know it for the longest time either, and then I randomly got it, I think, in Ceto, and I was like, it was like press shift to go fast. I'm like, how did I get this? And I was looking around. It's every zone has an explorer achievement, and if you get the explorer achievement and do the master task, which is always fly close to the sun so far,
Yeah.
you get fast travel, and because that's one pain point. Sometimes when you're like on one side of the system and you got to fly to the other one, you're like, this maneuver is going to take about 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just cuts
It's
all
just
that out.
long enough to be annoying.
Yeah.
Like it's not insanely long that you're like, well, I'll go get a sandwich, but it's just long enough for you to be like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a bit of a jump going all the way. Remember that in the Ceto system, that planet that's been blown up and it's all kind of like rocks sticking out from one end where it got exploded and there's a bunch of lava in there. At one point, you got to go from that all the way to the portal to the next system. And you're right, it's like end to end distance, and it takes a long time. I appreciate that that's a thing you do until you earn a better way, though. So hearing this is exciting because I like when a game gives me the raw ass experience, and then I get a way to. I appreciate it for what it is, and then I get a way to like circumvent that. That's awesome.
Yeah, once you're like dozens of hours in, you're like, I get it. It takes time to travel space. Anyways, I'm a human playing a game, and it's particularly important to get it because in the third and fourth system, there are a few let's traverse two systems to talk to a guy kind of quests sometimes.
Yeah.
So having the speed is like a huge time saver because it's going to make you jump a few systems.
Yeah.
There was one quest that made me go back and forth a little bit, and I didn't love that part, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't
Saving
make you
time
backtrack a lot, but it's man, it's a cool game.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we're all enjoying it, and I'm very happy for them. They made their first game was a roguelite FTL game with nice, pretty graphics, and this is a gigantic leap forward in just scope and breadth. It's just an amazing sequel, and it's almost like a bad sequel in that way, because giving it a number 2, it will lead people to think if you played one, oh, it's another one of those. Okay, interesting. I wonder what they did different. It's so much more than that. Like
very different game.
Yeah, it's a
They
different
incorporate
game.
into the lore
You know,
though.
maybe other games with the number 2 added maybe
Right.
somewhat arbitrarily to it
Yeah.
should take a hint from this and make a different game for their sequel.
Yeah, I don't know
Right.
which one you're talking about, but
Who are you
you know.
referencing? I have no idea.
If you
I don't
watch,
know,
if you
just
watch
maybe
over
another
things,
game that put a stupid 2 at the end of their name and the same goddamn game again.
if you have to watch over the games
yeah.
to see which one it is.
But at least they do they put some effort into a lore explanation because
Yeah,
you
this
learn
is
very
true.
early
I
on.
did look up the story
You were
of the
part
first
of-
game.
Yeah, you're clones, and so it's like, well, I was a clone, but we lost the technology. It's like no more roguelike, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty
no more
funny.
cloning.
If I die, I have to load a save, just like everybody else in the world. You know, it's the way it works.
Well, it's great. You guys should check it out. I know a few people in the chat have already run and grabbed it as we were talking about it. We hope you enjoy it as much as we are.
You will not regret the purchase if you like space games.
I agree. Let's talk about also a game that hit 1.0 yesterday, or technically they said today, but I guess it came out as early as yesterday. But
I was playing it yesterday, unless I wasn't. I'm like kind of worried now. I maybe have a bad save and got to start over.
maybe you don't know. Wartales 1.0 is out, and you've heard particularly Bo, but me a little bit talk about this game over the last year and a half or however long it's been in early access. And it's out.
2021. I checked my save file. The last time I played was January 2022, December 2021. So 16 months.
Wow.
Because I think we played pretty close after it came out.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So,
and it continues to be awesome. I think this game, so I got in a bit today and played, made some characters, called them Bo, John, Kristen, and Kyle. I'm not in there because you only get 4. I can kind of make
yourself eventually.
I can kind of make you guys look like I want, so you all look a little bit like your real person, and you immediately jump in and have your first fight and realize this game is hard and punishing, and it's almost like they took. This is what it reminds me of. So Bo talks about Banished all the time, and I played a bit of Banished back in the day. It's a city builder that's very hard on purpose. And this game reminds me of like, hey, what if you got right up close to the individual lives of the poor people of Banished, with a little bit of light fantasy thrown in, and that's what it reminds me of. Like when you're designing your characters and you have to like pick your overarching sort of things about them, none of them are positives. It's like, I guess some of them are, but a lot of it's
there are
like
positive traits, but you got negative. If you pick 2
negative
positive
effects,
traits, you have to take a negative trait. One of them is stupid. So I made like Tedna, and he had the stupid trait.
Yeah, which is great. So you can always stick one dude with a bad trait. But Bo, how would you describe, for those maybe just catching up, how would you describe this game?
It's a low magic mercenary warband sim, which is already an established genre. The game that is biggest in this, it would be Battle Brothers, which I did buy but didn't really play enough to talk on the show.
Yeah.
It's a particular genre where it's sort of like FTL, like you don't have named NPCs. There is a story, there are stories, but they're not tied to your characters.
Right.
It's SimCity, but for medieval era peasants who have nothing better to do than to offer their services murdering anyone for gold.
Right.
And they resort to what they have to. There's cannibalism in this game. If you run out of food, maybe you eat the people you kill just to survive. So what it is, it has a management sim layer. So it's a simulator. It's like drug deal simulator, but for warband. Basically, you got to find resources, scrounge for money. But the thing is, you're not directly controlling them. You're the manager, so you have to pay them wages, or they walk. You have to keep them happy, or they'll disband. They can grow to dislike each other, or they can grow to like each other and marry one another.
Oh, I'm
So
in.
there's that there's that management layer, and then there's the Divinity Original Sin turn-based combat layer, which is also really fun because it doesn't work like D&D. It has very specific mechanics to it. For example, when you run up to someone and melee and hit them, you're now engaged. So if they try to run away, disengage, you get a free opportunity attack. Just like if someone's bearing down on you, you don't just get to run away. So there's a lot of tactics involved in tying up the enemies and using your ranged attacks, for example, to do damage, or surrounding them, offering bonuses. So it has like a very tactical turn-based combat layer
Yeah.
that is interesting and punishing. If you're playing the game the right way, you should probably playing Limited or Iron Man, where if someone dies, they die. It's like in real life, like shit happens. But of course, you can save scum if you just want to play it that way. A lot of options for difficulty.
They even added a save thing, so you can choose. I want to save only before fights, or I want to save all the time, or I want to save not at all. They give you that option. So
and I think an important part of this game too is because it is a sim. The world is responsive. For example, I gave a beggar some gold, and then he turned around and stole 20 more gold and ran away. And then out in the forest, I ran into him, and I could decide to just murder this starving poor person that stole 20 gold from me, or I could just let him walk.
yeah,
I decided to be nice and let him walk. I may live to regret that later when who knows what might happen in this game. This game sort of has like a lived-in feel, or actions and consequences, decisions kind of feel to it.
sure.
You can capture people, you can capture animals and make them your own. There's a camp and a whole crafting system and a system about learning tech that's super involved. Tons of professions. You can be a thief. That's what Stanley's going to be. You can be a blacksmith. You can be an angler. You can be a bard and have one of your guys sing for money in the taverns.
Yep.
Like, it's a full wall-to-wall like sim of medieval life. Not high fantasy.
Right.
There may be magic at some point, but it's low magic. I'm expecting none. So this really is about actual, like it feels more medieval. Like, medieval's a Dark Ages, and I think we kind of conflate it with Lord of the Rings sometimes, being magic and full of. No, it's a time full of misogyny and hate. It's called Dark Ages for a reason. It sucked.
Yeah.
It's like arguably the worst time in history to be alive. There's disease everywhere. The kings took everything you owned. Most people were just like slaves, if not servants. You were serfs. And there were roving war bands that would just come to your village and kill you.
It's Game of Thrones Volume 1. It's the first book where they had really no magic in that first book. It was like, barely touched on. It was a lot of lore and legend and all of that, but it was never really out there. It was all about politics and survival and all that stuff, class warfare. And this feels like that to me a lot.
And I love the overworld map. It feels like a RTS board game. Like, you're always zoomed out. You're moving your pieces where they go and exploring. And it's good. 1.0 brought a lot of great stuff. Let's talk about 1.0. Soundtrack, it's like The Witcher. Someone was like, let's rip off Witcher 3 as much as possible for our game, this is the game. If you played the song and told me it was Witcher 3 music, I'd believe you. I'd say, I remember this song. Second good thing, everything's now fully voice acted, which it's okay. Everyone's doing Irish, sometimes it's Scottish, sometimes it's English, but, it works.
Kind of all over the place.
Some of them are a little, you're trying a little too hard to be Irish here, but it's good. Great soundtrack, great VO, art direction for what it is fits. It's beautiful, it's fun,
it's great,
and I think it's hard, but I think one of the other things too, for people to be intimidated, it's hard at first when you're trying to get into the rhythm of paying people, making sure you have enough food, making sure you keep medicine, making sure you have cures for the plague if you're going to go fight rats, because they can give you disease. like this game is sort of learning what are the things to manage your party correctly. It becomes less hard with knowledge. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to playing the absolute shit out of this game.
Yep. It's out now, so you got to go. You got to do it. We've been talking about it for so long. John, has this convinced you to check out Wartales?
I mean, I bought it. I bought it a long time ago, and I've meant
Nice.
to get to it for a while. And there's something about the look of it that every time when it was like, is this the game I'm going to load up and play today? That it always just landed on the side of no.
Yeah.
But it sounds extremely compelling. It sounds like something I would dig and be into. Every time it gets talked about, I go, well, what happens if my band becomes extremely successful? And then I court, say, the princess of the kingdom, and get captured and tortured, and escape during an eclipse, and summon demons into the earth.
It's a scary
Is
proposition.
that possible in this game? Because that's a scenario I'm familiar with war bands, but I don't think that this is that game. But it's what I think about whenever somebody says we have a war band going around.
Yeah, good point. I will say this. I'll just show a brief video of it here. It has some of the best snow tech I've seen in a game like this. It's beautiful snow. Yeah.
Actually, just environment. Rain's pretty good too.
Yeah. It's surprising.
It doesn't look terrible. Like, that's the thing, is I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing how the game looks. It's just, it has that look of like, oh boy, this is an investment. I'm not sure this is what I want to put my time in.
Yeah.
And then I go to something a little easier, but I'm very interested in it. Like, I think it sounds like a really cool game.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It'd be cool if there was co-op or something, but that does not exist.
Because I'm not done selling the game enough. I have to just also gush about one other thing, which is the flourish kills.
Oh yeah, they're great.
So like every now and then when you kill somebody, usually at the end they'll show you a cut scene of someone, deliver. Like I've got a brute with a giant two-handed hammer. And it's those brutal, realistic medieval kills where you just thock someone on the head and you actually think, what if I really hit someone with a hammer like that? What would it sound and feel like? And it just kind of, I go, ooh.
Yeah.
Like I don't often look at polygonal violence and get a reaction, but like one of my spearsmen knocked a guy in the cheek with the pole of his pitchfork.
Yeah.
And then took both hands and stabbed the pitchfork right into his rib cage, and the guy's like, oh. And I was like, oh, it's like it's good, it's visceral. I'm just like,
yeah.
It would really suck to really kill people in medieval. Like they didn't have guns. You couldn't just be like pop, like I'm cool. You have to literally tear their bones and flesh apart. And it makes me think of that. Not that I love that. I'm not a murderer, but it's a visceral experience that I get a lot of.
Well, for those wondering what this might look like, think about the Fallout slow down, kill the last guy moment shots, but done well. Because those look stupid. Those always look dumb. Skyrim also.
It's the same
Skyrim
idea.
But the same idea. Yeah.
But I definitely feel like. Whoa.
Yeah. And it's got a good zoom up because you're way out in front of these people most of the time. You're like way up above them. And then when you get in close, it's like, oh, yeah, these people have like details. And, it's got a pretty good
and I think they're
creator.
fictionalized to all be just people living a lot. It's not like, oh, it's Kael'thas. Of course I want to kill that guy. He's a dick or whatever, right? But it's like, he's like, I'll be back anyway, But like, you're like, this is the person. They had a father. They were brought into this world. And in this moment, now their life ends. And it's, our team that's just going to, because they stole a loaf of bread and I agreed to hunt them down and kill them for the mayor of the town. This person, there's a kind of feeling like when I play, I don't know if it's gonna be the same, your mileage may vary, but I get this feeling that I'm ending real people's lives and I'm living this grim like life of murder, I'm the hound or something,
It definitely has that vibe. It's really good. So check it out. That's Wartales, out now on Steam and other PC platforms, I suppose. Moving over to my stuff, I'll be quick about some of these since we went a little longer with our first two. But I got a game. It was one of the codes that came to me that I didn't know anything about before getting it. And I think it's kind of chorecore, but it's also roguelike. I don't know really what to call this game. It's called Full Metal Sergeant. and it's weird, and kind of
I see this.
great.
It looked like the movie, but a game. Is
Yeah,
that
kind
right?
of.
You just play that guy,
You have sort
the
of
toy from Toy Story.
You're basically Lee Army or Lee Ermey, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
I guess it's you. I don't know if it's really even you. This is kind of a god game where you run a military training base. It's like almost like basic training up through specialty dudes. And throughout the game, as you grow your base, you add things like a swimming training pool and a firing range, and then an obstacle course, and there's like this ton of tech tree stuff to open up. And as you go along, you're just trying to train the best recruits you can and get the best points each day. Or it does each turn is a week basically, and during that week you have some go do push-ups and some do sit-ups, or you might have them do rifle training, or this guy's going to learn how to assemble and disassemble a rifle. And the whole time the guy's going, "Come on, maggots, get your guns out and let's get it." Like he's doing that whole thing. They go on runs. There's a track that you open up, and it's "I don't know where I've been told," that whole thing, and they're all singing it back to him. And it really has the vibe of all those stereotypes you think of from movies like Full Metal Jacket or, I don't know, any other armies, even Stripes even. It's just kind of a vibe of like old military. And you raise your dudes to be better, and you can look at them when you hover over them. It'll say, "Oh, this guy's low on intelligence, so we're going to have him assemble rifles," because that builds intelligence. And also during these things while they're going on, somebody might show up at the front gate, and you go click on them, and it'll say, "Private what's his name got a magazine in the mail. It's all about gadgets." I can't remember the name of it, but it's gadget stuff. That'll give him like +5 to intel. So have him go do it. So you do, and he gets these bonus points. So you're trying to raise all their attributes, and as time goes on, you get new recruits. You have events where other platoons challenge you in swim meets or track competitions, and that will wear you out for the week, but it will give you benefits in the long run. So you want to compete in those and try to win. And then when you end, you'll know you're out of these points, and the guy will go, "That's it for now," or whatever. And you hit end week, and then the weekends opens up again, and you start over, and you keep going, and then you start applying these points you've earned to build new facilities and get new recruits. And eventually you'll have a kind of a bustling, place full of recruits and specialists and riflemen and infantrymen and all this stuff. You don't ever really go to war in the game, as best I can tell. You just kind of manage these recruits, and you make them better, and they work out a lot, and there's strength training, intelligence training, stamina training, like all this
They're
stuff.
trying to prepare them to be
soldiers.
Do you ever send them out? Like, do they ever? It's time to go on.
I
tour?
think so, but I'm not far enough to say for sure. But I'm pretty sure at some point you start sending them out, and they're off to war or whatever their assignment is. And now you remain the place that trains these soldiers. Mm-hmm. And the game is not like some rah freaking military sim. It knows it's playing with this particular stereotype of, private pile, get your ass over here and beer. Like that stuff is just like it's everywhere.
Well, I saw him because your sergeant seems to move around the screen, and at one point he said, "Keep doing those push-ups, pencil arm."
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah,
there's
some of it's
that
downright
style
mean. Some of it's mean. It even warns you when you start the game. It'll say this game includes sometimes very rude language. Just be advised, or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, because isn't it Full Metal Jacket where like things go really bad because of that?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to get into the specifics, but like, isn't that like the point of that game or
that movie? Yeah, at least the first half of
referencing?
That movie's basically two movies. That whole first half is that is the entire point, and then the latter half when they're in Vietnam's like a whole other movie. But yeah, you're right, and they are playing with those concepts, and there's no music, which is wild because all you hear. I actually really like this part of it. And you can decide when you're running. That was what was just up on screen. Which of the songs you're going to sing that they repeat back to you when you run?
Oh, I don't know what I've been told.
Exactly, and it's not just flavor text, or it's not just for flavor. It actually will be impactful for what you're training them in. So, if you want them to be, gain intel and sophistication or whatever the thing is, you choose a certain song, and then that will be the benefits at the end of the run. And these are all very short little sequences. It's not like you have to wait long times for this stuff to happen. A week is, very quick. I got myself completely enraptured with this. I think it's freaking great. I just unlocked.
I don't know. First impression, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you explained it a bit.
Yeah.
I see what's going on, and I'm like, oh, I think somebody probably made something really interesting here.
It's really cool. I like it a lot, and I'm really glad they sent it to me because I would have never heard of this otherwise. It's a little bit of a little gem, and it's reviewing well so far. Not a lot of people know about it.
This is the kind of thing, again, when we talk about indie games, where it's just like, can you make something like what AAA studios are going to make? Hey,
Right.
guys, I got an idea for a game.
Exactly.
You're just a drill sergeant, and you make soldiers. And
It's
like,
a really
the microtransactions.
I kind of walked away from it feeling that feeling of like, oh, we should make a game. Like it has that feeling of like, oh, look what they did here. This is a unique thing.
I mean, this is achievable. Like, I mean, it's bitmap graph. Like, this is all. It's work.
Mhm.
Right? I'm not going to say anything that's going to get me in trouble about the amount of time it takes to make something like this.
A weekend, let's say. Let's just say a weekend, sure.
Everything here looks achievable to me. Like for me, anyway. I'm like, with the work put into it, I'm just like, it's inspiring. I guess I'll try to say.
It's very cool. So go check it out. That game again is Full Metal Sergeant. It's a very odd little discovery, and I really like it. I also got a code for a game that I am very pleased with, and I streamed it today. Called Scarlet Tower. Guys, I found another Survivors like, and I think this might be a keeper for me. This is one that is probably, John would probably really like this one because it's very much like Vampire Survivors in its very basic sort of way, but it's not ugly graphics, which is my biggest.
Actually, yeah, I'm just looking at gameplay of this, and it looks like if they took the Vampire Survivors aesthetic and improved it,
Yeah,
like
made it
I
look
don't know.
better.
Like, this actually looks fair. This looks like the closest thing to Vampire Survivors out of any of the clones that I've seen.
Yes,
I mean,
think
normally
that's fair.
Scott plays video. He is right now, but I refreshed the stream, so I'm watching ads.
Oh,
but I will
great.
comment further as soon as the ad break is done because I'm not subbed to
Pre-roll
Scott.
ads.
Yeah.
Okay,
pre-rolls.
there we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's see these graphics, Scott.
Yeah, so it's got
that you're
like
so over the moon about because my Survivor game has to have graphics.
well, so these are
This looks dope.
It's still
I'll be
pixels.
honest, this is my favorite thing out of all the Survivors likes. That I've
Yeah,
seen.
it looks really good.
All right,
It's
this
got
looks pretty good.
it's got pixel graphics, but it's shiny and bright and explosive and lots of particle effects and junk like that. Here's one of my favorite things, and this I couldn't decide when I was on stream if John's going to like this or hate this, but by
I
default,
don't know, how active do you have to be?
well,
This
that's
is
the
basically
question.
Vampire Survivors by someone that knows how to do shaders and particle effects
Yeah, basically, yeah.
and illumination.
So here's what I thought about you, John. I was playing the game, and by default, it's left stick and auto shoot. Okay, just like you like it, right? Not a lot of active involvement. You're just like very passive, just kind of control my dude, do different stuff. Lots of different characters unlock, all that stuff's here, all the unlocks, all the things you expect from that game, but that part is by default. You can, however, go into the options and auto shoot and aim can be manual if you want them to be, but they're not on by default. It played great either way. I prefer it with a little more activity. So I changed it.
You would.
Yeah, I would. Right.
You would.
I
you
would.
traitor
Oh,
to
sure.
the genre.
Yeah,
It looks like it has a day-night cycle.
Oh, it does. Bo, you'll love this. When it goes to night, the werewolves come out, and they're hard.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's cool. That's
yeah.
cool. You know what? I am giving Scott a hard time because he does not enjoy the clearly superior product in this genre
really don't.
as much as he should.
Yeah.
It's the one that he has put not enough time into despite his strong wrong opinions on it. But I will say that does not mean that this game has to be bad, and I think this game actually looks
Yeah, it is very cool.
Yeah, I think this it's hitting me good too, and I'm not a big,
What's hilarious about it is I haven't found any towers, let alone Scarlet ones. So I don't know what the name is. But
are there any survivors in Vampire Survivors?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean,
That's
you are
part
if
of
you-
the point. You get them out of the coffin and then they join your team. Do you not know the deep Vampire Survivors lore? Jesus, did you guys even play this video?
I just
game?
feel like if you kill 100,000 things, you're not really a survivor anymore. You're kind of,
If you kill 100,000 things, you're the ultimate survivor.
You're the best of survivors.
I guess. Like, I don't want to quibble over the title that much because I'll probably lose.
There's this the weird kind of roguish character that I just unlocked. I had so much fun with, and this is another sign of a game like this. If it's good, you play one 20-minute run, and you're like, all right, that was awesome. Maybe I'll do another one. You do it again, and then you're like, oh, I really got to go. But you know what? I'll just see what this person does in the initial part of the game. I'll just see what their run starts like, and then you do a full another one.
I gotta say, this almost looks a little bit too rip-offy. Almost. Now that I'm seeing the circle of plant creatures, I'm like, that's literally in Vampire.
Well, they all do this to some degree, but the actual gameplay.
they all do plant monsters in a circle.
Well, but they all do the circle thing. They all try to enclose you while you do a little bossy kind of fighty thing, and there's bosses. I mean, they are definitely the template. There's no question about that, and it feels very much cut from that cloth.
You know, Brotato and the other ones tried to aesthetically be different. This is literally saying, yeah, we'll do the vampire thing. I don't know.
You can also
it's still
buy
probably
shit.
great, but it's a bit, it's a bit.
You can buy shit from frogs. Can't do that in Vampire Survivors. There's these frogs camping out.
Okay, well, you got me.
And you find these frogs, and they're hanging out in this little cabin, and you go touch them, and they go, hey, you want to spend some money on some shit? And you get
like the UI.
Yeah.
I think the UI looks a little slick.
It's very nice.
I'm
thrilled with this game. I haven't tried it on Steam Deck yet. I'm going to do that tonight. I think it's rad, and I'm really glad to discover it, and really thankful for that code. It is only $5, so if you want to try it out, give it a shot. It's Scarlet Tower.
Why you do this? Sorry.
What happened? It's only $5.
Hans bought me Kill It with Fire VR.
What? I have that game. I don't have it for VR though.
Look at Hans.
It's a VR game, and it's spiders.
Yeah, it's spiders.
You
it's all.
You must have a
spiders.
lot of extra money. I'm not playing that shit. Are you kidding me? I'm never touching this game. Oh my god. Sorry.
Did he just?
I wouldn't have interrupted for anything else, but Steam literally popped up a spider in my face. I had to react. So it's like, ugh.
He's your sugar daddy. That guy. He gives you all your VR stuff, doesn't he? He's always giving you VR stuff. Yeah. Anyway, check it out. Scarlet Tower, available now on Steam. And finally, Hellslave. Although I put Hellsalve.
Hellsalve is a more interesting game.
Hellsalve.
You had me, and now you lost me. You got to win me back, Scott, because Hellsalve sounded like a hell of a thing. Hellslave.
It really did. This is less so cool. This is a game that you're going to look at it and go, oh, did the artist from Darkest Dungeon have sex with a wizardry game from the 90s? Kind of. It's this dark, bloody fantasy, grimdark looking look to everything. But it's basically one of those old games where it's like stuff in front of you. You fight them, you move on, you dungeon crawl. You don't move though, like you don't move in a 3D kind of way. It's kind of presented two-dimensionally. And I think I quite like it. I think there's some missing polish to this game, and I'll get to some of the gameplay here in a second. What's the name again? It's Hellslave. Jeez. I had to put the name up so people
Case in point. Bad name. Scott can't even
It's not a great name.
And he mistypes a better name whenever he writes it down.
It's not the best name in the world, but let me see if I can get to some actual fighting here.
It's called Hellslave.
Hellslave, exactly. And I was...
Hellsalve is such a good name for a game. All you wannabe developers out there, get on it. Hellsalve is badass.
Pretty badass, for sure.
We got a condition. It's hell.
It has a nice...
Be the salve for it.
It has a nice old school vibe for those kinds of games, that kind of RPG experience you don't see very much anymore. And I like that kind of thing. So a lot of it's shown in like there's this top-down view of the dungeon, and you take your little dude and you move him around, and you look at a point of interest, and then the camera changes to show an illustrated version of what's down that hall, and then you decide if you want to go in or not, or search the area, and then if there's a fight, it's a fight, and then you square off against dudes, which I think is going to happen here with this playthrough. I'm not sure. Yeah, here it comes. And you can see they just kind of line up in front of you. Lots of very nice artwork. Very, very Darkest Dungeon vibe to the art. That may be good or bad for people. I don't know. But And then you fight them. You got a bunch of abilities you unlock and improve over time. It's all the stuff we know in RPGs. And there's tons of loot. Everybody drops shit. You upgrade your weapons all the time and your helmets and your whatnot. And you have turn-based combat. I like it. It's a little unpolished, though. Sometimes a right click does one thing, and then in a scenario that is very similar, it has to be a left click for no good reason. Weird little things like that. I think that stuff can be tweaked, and the developers seem pretty active and interested in listening to feedback. So that seems cool. It's on sale right now for like $13, and that's why I grabbed it. And it's a nice little surprise. So if that sounds like fun,
I got dev feedback. Call your game Hellslave.
Hellslave. Yep. I think John, you've nailed it. Hellslave is.
You nailed it. You wrote it.
Yeah.
I just envisioned a world with it. That's all.
Anyway, it's cool. I was only able to play a couple hours so far, but I like it. It's good. And I like the old schoolness of it. And I'm a big fan of those old, like Wizardry. I mentioned it before. I love those games.
It's got a nice aesthetic, though. I do appreciate. They look cool.
Yeah, like cool stoner art, I don't know what else to call it, but I like it. All right, so that's Hellslave. Again, my number: Full Metal Sergeant, Scarlet Tower, Hellslave. John, you're still playing. Well, I know we are together on Tuesdays, but you personally are still playing Resident Evil 4 Remake because you can't stop. Why?
I can't stop because the game is that good.
It's pretty damn good.
Is the primary issue is that game is that good. I've beaten the game 4 times now. I'm on my 5th playthrough of the game, which I don't know how much I'm going to stick with it, but I did do a speed run with the Infinite Rocket Launcher. I bought it and was like, oh, how long is this going to take for me to just do a run where all encounters are trivial? And it turns out a little over 3 hours is exactly how long it took.
Wow. That's not that long. That's pretty quick. 3 hours.
No, I watched a speed run, like a genuine speed run, yesterday of somebody playing through this game, where they were not using an infinite rocket launcher, and the speed run was a little over 2 hours.
Oh my gosh!
So you can get through this game very, very quickly once you know what to do, which is a lot shorter than the like 15 or so hours that it took the first time I went through. It's just that good, though. Like, this game just plays great. It is beautiful. Like, it is shocking how good this game looks. And I'm having a great time with it. I tend to play it on not professional mode, which actually, it's funny. We talked about that playing through on professional, and we kind of laughed, and we're like, why is it called that?
Yeah.
And in my consuming information about this game, I realized that there's a absolutely logical reason, well, sort of logical reason why it's professional. It's because Leon is named Leon after Leon the Professional.
Oh my Lord. Really?
He has a gun called Matilda. I don't know why I didn't put this together.
I didn't either. That's insane. All right. Someone's a fan over there of the Luc Besson classic, The Professional.
There you go.
Wow.
And, green herbs look a lot like that plant. So it's just all coming together full circle here for old Leon.
Wow.
I'm just having a really good time with it, trying new weapons, trying to get all the treasures, finding cool little secrets. There's still so many weird things in this game, like bizarre touches. Like, if you have the bioscanner scope, there's an enemy that is all ambushy. Boiler Scott, get ready. There's going to be some bugs in this that blend into the background.
Great.
And the biosensor will tell you where they are without you having to use your eyeballs to detect them. Like,
that's a real shame.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's just full of secrets, full of fun Easter eggs, and I can't stop playing it. It is such a fun game. So I'm going to continue to just bang that drum till I stop playing it.
Tune in next.
Who knows when that will be?
Tune in to Tuesday for. I mean, you're live streaming a lot of this as well, but Tuesday, John and I are doing my playthrough on Tuesday afternoons from 3 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time, and it's been a great time so far. So
yeah. Scott's playthrough is a lot more fun than mine because he screams when he gets scared.
Yeah.
Unlike me, who won't even stop talking when something jumps out at him. So,
it's nothing to you.
Scott's way more interesting to watch play this than me.
At the end of today's show, I am going to play a thing that someone made. I don't remember their name, but it's basically all the shits I said in the first part of the game. And it's a bit like this.
Right.
Shit balls. Shit. Yeah. Shit. It's just a big mashup of me saying shit. So
I just like this is yelling in Spanish in the
That's like
background.
$500 worth of shit that you owe
it
the
is
swear
a lot of
jar.
shitting. It's a whole lot of shitting. But anyway, there you go. Resident Evil 4
You're
remake.
getting up to a real interesting spot. You're almost done with the village area, about to transition into the castle,
Oh man.
which changes everything.
I'll bet it does. I can't wait. I can't wait for that weird place I saw you sneaking around where there were a bunch of pigs or dogs or something. And
Oh yeah, that's in the castle.
in
Yeah,
the
those
castle.
are those are the wolves. Yeah.
great.
Wolves.
Looking forward
Big
to those.
dogs, wolves.
Big dog wolves.
Which is it?
And John was just picking them off, walking the pip, pip, pip. No big deal. I'm going to die a lot.
I shared it with Scott to show the difference between us because they literally, I was surprised. Like I didn't pick clips where I knew something was going to happen. I picked clips where there was a dog where I didn't expect it, and there's no break in me. There's nothing. No reaction. Sometimes I'd go, "Oh, hi." We'll see how Scott handles it when he gets there. So
At this point, John, you're literally le professionnel.
Yeah, you are.
Game.
That
I'm
movie's
getting
good.
there, man.
I don't think anyone has played this game as much as you. Like, you're getting to the point where you could become like the speedrun guy for games done quick.
Yeah.
Like, if you keep at it.
Yeah, John.
I mean, I'm not
look
quite
at
there,
it.
but I won't lie. Like, so watching the speedruns for it, when they're like, and we just use the scope through the wall glitch here, I'm like, I could learn to do that. And if I learned to do that, I could do that.
You could
You
do
love
that.
playing the game over and over. I mean, that's how you.
This is the one.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my time. Maybe
Yeah.
it's time for me to step up there. Although, there's still plenty for me to do. I have not earned like S+ on professional. I don't have the cool cat ear accessory for Leon yet. I don't have the Chicago typewriter as a weapon to use yet.
What? That's
So-
real? Is that real?
Yeah.
It probably
Yeah.
makes a sweet noise when you hit people with it, right? Dun, like that.
Well, as Chicago typewriter is a Tommy gun.
Oh,
Oh. You know what
I
they
was thinking a literal typewriter.
He's just Leon running around. Oh,
Yeah, well, because there are save points. I thought maybe you get to take the save point as a weapon. But,
Yeah, like
right, because that's what you save with.
yeah, like I feel like it made sense. But now that you're like, oh, this is a cool way of saying Tommy gun, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I think my favorite glitch that I saw, I didn't know it existed until last night when I watched the speed run, is that near the end there is one of those, it's been real popular in games lately. There's a segment where they want to show that there's a struggle, so people move really slow. And there's a scene where you're carrying Ashley and you're going real slow carrying her. People have found a glitch where you can go normal speed carrying Ashley, but the glitch moves it to where she's equipped in Leon's hand like he's carrying her like she's a toddler and just walking through the stage with her just hanging out of his hand like an equipped item.
That's
It is
great.
the funniest damn thing I've ever seen. I was so happy when I saw that was a glitch.
What they need to do,
So-
they need to get Natalie Portman to play Ashley as an unlock, and now you've really got the Leon professional thing going on. Yeah.
His outfit should be in there. You can get his, I think you can get his round glasses that he had.
Oh, really?
But yeah, they should go full tilt with that. They got some dumbass costumes in that game. There's a lot of areas they could mine for costumes for Leon.
Yeah.
I did unlock, but one unlock I'm very pleased with is you can get an entire suit of armor, plate mail armor for Ashley.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful costume because she can't be shot and enemies can't pick her up. So she can't be abducted and you can't accidentally kill her, both of which have been problems on playthroughs. But my favorite detail is if she jumps from a high spot and Leon catches her, which happens from time to time in the game.
Mm-hmm.
When Leon sets her down, he groans and grabs his back. And it's a detail he only does when she's wearing the suit of armor.
Wow. The game
I
is
love
very
it.
great about that stuff, like weird details.
Yeah.
I will
so good.
give it some big fat credit for that. You beat the murder, so that's Resident Evil. You beat the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Was it satisfying? Are you happy?
Yeah. Sorta. I really
Who
liked
murdered
it.
Sonic.
I don't want to
Sonic
spoil
was
it.
never
People
really
should-
dead.
He was
people
probably
should
never
go
dead.
Play it.
The franchise
I will tell you
continue
this, that there is a point where they go, okay, Sonic, we're done. And he
Yeah.
does not move. He
Really?
is down. I think the coolest thing
Down
that this
bad.
game did.
Hmm.
Let me just say this. When you're playing a Sonic game
Yeah.
or a Mario game
Yeah.
or any of these characters where the main antagonist of the series is always the same person,
Yeah.
you might assume that the murderer of Sonic, or if there was a Mario murder mystery, we'll say,
Sure.
that it would be someone like Bowser was the perpetrator, right?
Yeah.
Because that would be like the obvious choice.
Yeah. I would.
What I admire about this game is that it does have its cake and eat it, in that there is a murder mystery. You will solve it. It is legit. And then spoilers at the end, it's Dr. Eggman.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know what I thought you were going to say. Of course it is. Of course it's Dr.
Like,
Eggman.
They do both. And so that's why I kind of don't feel bad, because there is a legitimate murder mystery in there. And I do like that they do both. Like, they do have the sit down, let's solve it, present your evidence bit. The game does lean a little too heavily on its mini game that I don't think is actually fun.
Yeah.
And even the very end of the game is literally just like play stage after stage after stage of this mini game, because I feel like they at some point thought like, well, people are going to want to play a video game in this, and they misread me because I just wanted to read the story and make dumb choices and look in the trash can all the time.
Yeah.
But that part was kind of meh, but I thought the story was a lot of fun. The characterization was a lot of fun. The game genuinely made me laugh every now and then. And I'm not even like the biggest Sonic fan, and yet there were still like enough inside jokes where I was like, I get that. That's funny. That's clever. So I liked it. It was free. I'm not going to really criticize a game that was given out free for not having an insane amount of depth. It was a fun narrative that I felt compelled to finish, and I did.
Well, then,
And I was satisfied at the end.
what else can you ask for? I say.
Yeah.
That sounds good. And then Diablo
John-
2 resurrected, or whatever the hell it's
I
called.
just have breaking. Beep, 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 beep,
Oh,
beep.
breaking.
Pardon me if you don't know this. There's a Vampire Survivors expansion that came out today.
Oh yeah, I was going to
Heard about
mention that too, but I didn't
Right.
play it. I bought it immediately.
Oh,
Tides of the Foscari, and it's the second one. I didn't realize there was a first one.
Yeah, the first one was good. First one was really good. They're doing a new thing with the maps now. The first expansion did this. This expansion looks like it does it, where instead of like, well, it's just a big open forest and there's trees everywhere, it's actually kind of like a mini map where there are areas that you can go and visit. Like, oh, there's a mountain over here. There's like a forest maze over here. And there are boss encounters depending on where you go and the things you do in it. And certain weapons will be in certain locations. So they're doing some interesting things with that DLC. I will probably be talking about that next week.
Oh,
'Cause
good.
I bought it immediately.
all right. So the old reliable grandpa game. What the hell? Do you guys hear that?
I don't know.
Oh, never mind.
No.
You won't hear that.
I don't know. This guy definitely got money. There's like animated cartoons in the trailer.
Oh, really?
I mean, not a lot, but yeah, you got someone actually do some decent.
Well, yeah, the
and
game
stuff.
was $4, but from a lot of people.
Wow.
If a lot of people gave me $4, we'd be doing this show a lot.
I
Yeah.
wish list them. Maybe I'll pick them up. I do like the Vampire Survivors.
I like them too, as long as they're not Vampire Survivor itself.
You need to try the actual game.
I have. It's fine. It's slow start. I don't like the graphics. It's ugly.
You played it when it was still early access. You need to play the real game.
I think I played it since it's been full out.
No, I
Yeah,
don't think
on my
so.
Steam Deck, I played it there.
That's what somebody that hasn't played it but wants to move on would say.
I love this rivalry. It's so
know.
funny.
It's
Scott's like, I
It's the
can't
new
do it.
beef.
It's the
We
new
don't
beef.
talk about dragons enough, so now we're just gonna do this.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? All right, tell me about Diablo 2 Resurrected, because you have a hot take. It's not a game.
I do have a hot take. I said this on stream yesterday, and the only response I got right out of the gate was hot take.
Yeah.
So I started playing Diablo 2 Resurrected. People might think that, like Bo, I just have a Diablo 4 hole that I'm trying to fill with games that are like it. But it's really not that. Like, I enjoyed my time with Diablo 4. I'm not looking to recapture it. I'm fine waiting. There's been plenty of other good things to play. But in my excitement for Diablo 4, doing what I normally do, I started looking up a bunch of lore about the Diablo universe and watching a bunch of videos and doing deep dives on the world of Sanctuary. And one thing kept happening as I watched these. Whenever they talked about Diablo 2, they started showing Diablo 2 Resurrected gameplay. And every time I saw it, I went, that game looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, that game looks awesome. Look at how good that game
It does. It looks great.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I need to play it again. And I got in and played it. And look, this is a game where if you hit G, you get to see what the old graphics are.
Yeah.
So obviously even though it's new graphics, it is still hampered somewhat by its old graphics because they're just laying on top of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, your character's going to walk around like they have a stick shoved up their ass because that's how the original game looked when they moved. Like,
Right.
that's just the reality we live in.
Sure.
But art aesthetically, I think Diablo 2 Resurrected looks better than Diablo 4.
That
By
is a
a
hot
lot.
take. That's a hot take.
You know what I didn't say a single time watching Diablo 4 gameplay? Wow, this game looks really good.
Really?
You know what got me to
I said
reinstall
that.
and play this game? By seeing video of it and going, man, this game looks really good.
I think you might be clinically insane, but you know, it's fine. I think it's fine.
I think you should sleep on it, baby. Baby, you want to sleep on it.
I think it looks better. I do. It is not as washed out. It has color in it. I think artistically it looks nicer.
Wow.
Chat said it. There's at least one person in chat with me. Diablo 2 has better use of color. Yes, it does.
I mean, okay.
I'm not biting.
There is more color, but I don't know
Everyone's
about.
allowed to their entitled to their opinion. This is John's segment, and he laid down his opinion.
But also remember, like Diablo 3's beta, same problem. We were stuck in the woods for the whole beta. We never got to see anything else.
I mean, look, I reserve the right to change my opinion.
Oh, of course.
Of course. I'm not locking it in forever. But, I think also keep in mind that I am speaking within a scope. Like, this is not a game where the character models are so detailed because it's going to zoom in and be like, oh, here's a cinematic with your character. Of course that looks better in Diablo 4. I'm not dumb.
Right.
But from a, looking at isometric gameplay, one screenshot next to another of isometric gameplay, I think the use of color and the general style of Diablo 2 Resurrected looks better.
Interesting. All right. Let's see. Well, I think come June and we get to see the whatever that place they all went, the desert, whatever they call it, their version of the sands, the sandy. Well, you don't like deserts, so that may not help. But maybe there'll be jungles.
The desert isn't going to help it.
There'll be other shit. There's always different biomes. We'll see what happens. I don't think you're, obviously I'm kidding. I don't think you're insane, but I am a little surprised by that take because I think two Resurrected does look really nice. No doubt.
I mean, the monsters look amazing. But anyways, it's fine. I understand. D2 has a specific... They nailed it with the Resurrected thing. I think it looks
really good, you guys.
I agree. It does.
And again, it is hampered by the old game. Like, you can put as much, lighting and shaders and effects on the lightning bolt in the entire world on that. It's still going to look like that little jagged line lightning bolt that was in the original game because they're putting it over the top of it.
You're right.
Like, it is, to a degree, what I'm comparing is apples to oranges.
Right.
Because even though they're both Diablo, even though they're both isometric games, they're very different in principle. They're from different eras of gaming on how they're displayed and all of that. So what I'm really saying is that I continue to be blown away by how Diablo 2 Resurrected looks when I see it. And I continue to be maybe underwhelmed when I see Diablo 4.
Fair.
I'm still waiting for a moment in Diablo 4 where I go, wow. And I got close with the world boss. I thought the world boss looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
but it didn't like it wasn't. It was still on par with what's his name, Belial, when the big version of Belial comes out.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're gonna fight this little nerdy boss,
Yeah.
and then the big version comes out. It was the same feeling I had for that moment where I went, "Oh, okay."
Did you ever get attacked by the butcher during either of the weekends?
I never got to fight the
Yep.
butcher.
That butcher is
I
cool.
got killed by him, and I killed him.
He's scary.
Like
Oh, you did? I didn't know you killed him. That's great.
Yeah.
He's intentionally
On the barb.
really hard. Yeah. Oh, with the
Well,
barb.
I
And it
was- I
doesn't
was
mean
max
I'm
level
not
on the
excited for
Mhm.
Diablo 4. Like I don't think he's arguing with me, but Daniel J. Newman says it's gonna win Game of the Year. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not even saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying like
What you
one
said
of
was
the
illegal.
things-
Now you've got to say what you're saying.
you have to 100% like a
You're
game.
getting a
I
hot
understand
Yeah.
that in this day and age, you either 100% like it or that means you 100% hate it. I know, and
Yeah.
it's my fault for trying to walk in the middle world.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
I think
modern
you're right
gaming
about
problem.
D2R looking good.
Yeah, it's
It does
beautiful.
look good.
It's a gorgeous game.
I
The
think D4 looks good.
who's the company they absorbed that did that? The Tony Hawk 2 remake people or Tony Hawk 1?
That game also looked really good.
Vicarious
Vicarious
Visions.
Visions. Those guys know how to do a damn remaster. Like they should. I'm a little bummed that they bought them because I wanted to see what else they were going to do. Not just Blizzard games, you know. Anyway, very
also,
nice.
when the Druid rock falls, it's on fire. in
Oh
Diablo
right.
2.
Oh
What are you
right.
playing? Are you playing online so we can play together?
I'm not playing online. No.
No.
Okay.
I
And
don't
what
want
class are you
friends with
playing?
Me in Sanctuary. I'm playing Paladin right now,
Oh, sweet.
but I don't know if I'm gonna play. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it. Seems a little boring. Here's what got another thing that got me into it. Wasn't just like, oh, graphically. Was Bo was talking about it, I think last week.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that you could remap abilities to do the QWER, 1, 2, 3, however you want to do
Right.
multiple
Yeah.
abilities. It
I've
doesn't
got
just
8
have to be left and right click,
Right.
which is what I was used to with Diablo 2. I was like, I got to look into how to do that because that's the biggest thing that hampers me from enjoying the game is how their ability system works. And they did a great job. You can throw it right up on the UI to where you can see your abilities there. It tells you what button to press. It looks janky, but it's there. And you can absolutely remap and have as many buttons as you want. So I was like, yes. And then I played the class that has auras, so you don't have a lot of buttons you want to press. And I was like, well, I may have messed up.
Yeah.
Go
Maybe I
Druid.
should-
That way you summon your ravens and your wolves and you change it
Yeah,
to
maybe I
werewolf.
should do Druid, or maybe I should do Assassin, so I have openers and finishers and stuff like that. But I picked the wrong class for testing out the multiple ability system.
It can happen. It can happen.
But it is there, and it looks great.
Look, the Necro's always there for you, man. Whenever you want him.
No,
Yep,
that
he's
is
there.
the one class I will not play.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the one. He's ready.
No,
Zool.
worst class. It is
Uh,
Zool, though.
Best class. Moving on to Bo's time with Vertigo 2 on VR. Bo,
If you and John want to keep fighting, we can just skip
No,
my
it's,
segment.
This is
not
gonna
a-
be a show where Scott and I just disagree
Everything.
on everything.
Yeah. So it's VR time. Listen around, everybody. Gather around.
Gather
Grab
around.
a chair. I
Yep.
won't be long, but because mostly what I played was Everspace and a touch of Wartales. However, I did try my VR game, and this caught my attention. So first of all, Vertigo 2 is the name of the game, but Vertigo 1 was a game that was out there that I was looking at, and I'm like, I don't know. When I saw 2 was coming, maybe I'll wait for that because 1 was well regarded. Vertigo 2 right now was launched 30th of March, so it's out recently, sitting at an overwhelmingly positive on Steam, with comments like even better than Half-Life Alyx.
Jeez.
A lot of people like this a big tent pole game. Now here's the thing. I think a bit of context is important. So you see right now I'm reloading a checkpoint where a barrel keeps blowing me up. Still some bugs to iron out. The important thing to note is that this is made by a one-man dev team of some 22-year-old, which you might think, oh, so it's just some indie game. But no, this works to its advantage because what this game is it's a talented 22-year-old making something who basically is just putting every idea possible into a game. It's got that kind of energy. Like here I am shooting a crazy sci-fi shotgun in a bathroom. And
Some
it's fun.
sort of
Like, this
Roomba.
is- it's so. What's nice about this is it's a pump. So I've actually got to literally pump the underhand if I want to get the next shot at it. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see me in the camera pumping. But basically, you are in a
Yeah, the
cave.
stream on Kick. For
I was
that.
going to say, this is a kick.com stream. You can look forward to it.
You are in a cave, and what you do is there's this guy Brian and some floating head robots, and you come from another dimension, and Brian just kind of wants to get you back to the other dimension, so he takes you through some murder simulating. It's all over the place. In one level, you'll be in a building, and in this office building, a Tyrannosaurus Rex pops out. And I don't know what the deal is with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's also these meat blocks that looks like skin pulled over a cube, and it has a face, and on the back it has a little butt crack where the butt is.
Yeah.
Like, it's full of weird monsters. Some of the enemies are just these bodies with hands for heads. So in their place is a hand and has an eyeball in the hand.
Okay.
And it's like when you think about theme, like Diablo is a good example. Like, oh, we want our palette to look this way, and this needs to be metal fantasy. This game is just like, let's just put everything kind of in this shootery Half-Life Alyx kind of game where you just have guns and shoot things. But
I like the
you got to get through this weird thing. So I need a hard hat. I don't think I have the hard hat yet, but I have to find a hard hat to get through that area. So I had to figure that out. And there's healing stations, and like so far I'm like 4 or 5 chapters in, but I'm looking at the reason why I think this is overly positive. At one point you'll be on a ship, at one point you'll be in some weird forest, there's a medieval torture chamber castle, like there's all kinds of just crazy ideas in this game, and like 18 weapons. This weapon looks like it has an anus on top. Like, it's every weird idea that, when you're 20 and you're having weird ideas.
Yeah.
And this person managed to put them in the game, and so far it's like, yeah, the level this is not AAA design. You can tell even when you're playing VR, and yeah, the voice acting's muddy, but there's like a lot of heart, and I feel like this is what those Rick and Morty, like the Justin Roiland games, kind of try to be, but they end up being really Justin Roiland-y, where this is like not that. Like,
Right.
it's and there's a bunch of Half-Life references. Like, the portal gun is in this game, but you can't get it. It's hiding behind a wall. Like, there's a lot of, like, in-jokes in the game.
His inspirations. It looks to me,
Yeah.
the look of it is a real vibe, man. I think this tone of this office space, like the paint, even the colors he's chosen, these muted colors, is very cool.
Yeah, so in the context, but it isn't like, indie game, give it overwhelmingly positive because we like indie developers. It's like there's something kind of magical going on here, and I've only played like maybe 2 hours, but I'm looking forward to going back to more because I'm like, I want to see what happens next. Like, the next level could literally be anything, and yeah.
This guy
It's
made
cool.
2 of these in his 20s or his 19 and 20.
Apparently he's 22 and he's like a single. Yeah, see, I got the hard hat. So I love when I can put hats on in VR games. You can't see it because it's cut off, but I can actually see it in my periphery vision. The hat like on my head.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Yeah. So you do see a little brim of your hat. So I wear the hard hat. I think if you tab ahead, I will fight the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which owned me. He's so hard.
In this office space, there was a...
Yeah. Like, it's the first time I saw a T-Rex, and he just happened to burst through. It's one of those out of place. Oh, that's me going to Wartales. It wasn't that far ahead. But it's one of those, everything's out of place all the time. So it's just, I don't know what to expect.
It sounds
very cool.
wild.
Yeah, maybe we didn't need to jump ahead.
can't find
It's neat. Like, I'm gonna play more. I don't know that I necessarily recommend it yet, but so far it's very cool. And like I said, there's a huge weapon wheel, so I know you're gonna end up with a ton of weapons. It's back some here because I'm in a new sort of area, just a little bit.
Oh, look at this! It's like an alien space. Boy, he did this himself. Like all the textures.
Yes,
and
like this game is like it's a one. I'm sure maybe I haven't watched the full credits. No, probably has had some help here or there. And also they have their own soundtrack. Like the trailer I saw had like amateur music song made by girl singer, and this whole Vertigo is amazing or something like that. Like it's a full it's only $40, but it's a full ass production, and I think like I'm eager to keep playing because all these reviews say this game is better than Half-Life Alyx. Easily one of the top best 5 VR games. How is this better than every other VR game when only one dude made it?
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, game is a masterpiece. How did one guy do this? I think part of it is that VR is starved for actual full box experiences. Like, here's BioShock, here's Call of Duty. Like, everything feels like an experiment or a specific slice of a game and not a full release.
Yeah.
So this is this feels like I'm gonna get a full campaign and a lot of delight. At one point, I'm in a helicopter shooting helicopters with a Gatling gun. I love those like unlimited ammo Gatling guns, like in Gears of War, where you're just like,
Yeah.
it's fun in VR because you pretend like, this is so heavy, I'm shaking. Even though there's no real haptic feedback, it's kind of fun to pretend that's happening when you shoot those guns.
It looks really great. I'm impressed. The guy's has an eye for, just from a design standpoint, like the way it looks. That looks like a whole team did something.
It's scripted well too. Like Brian's in the office. He's like, okay, I'm going to explain everything to you. And you're in a boardroom and he's showing you a slide. And then like an explosion happens and Officer 13, a robot guy, shows up. And Brian's like, oh shit, not you. Yes, it's Officer 13 here. And I've come to shut you down. Like, it's actually well scripted, the events that happen to you too. And it's got scary shit. Like, I went down a wrong corridor, and it was just a mouth that closed, and it looked like an eel with like 6 eyes. And I was like, "Nope, wrong corridor." And I turned around and walked away. And that sensation in VR felt really like I don't even want to know. I just want to go down the other hallway.
Yeah, you don't want to be around for that.
So it's. I'm curious, and I will report back more hopefully because I want to see more of this game.
All right, that's pretty
And
wild.
we're not playing Kill It With Fire, Hans. Please,
No,
please.
I want to
But
see you play it, but
I accepted the game, but
I
only,
do want to see him play it as well.
I want to write a review that just says no and product received for free. 0 hours on it.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll run through the other stuff quickly because it's not my. This is a long show. I've picked up Jedi Fallen Redhead because Mandalorian is kind of rubbing my cheese.
Yeah,
It's it's
a very
in a good way.
it's a very Scott way of saying that. I appreciate
Using
that.
my rub, yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted you to relate, but and I was like, I never gave this game the full try. I had my old shit kicker computer before. I now have a, sweet ass PC. Let's burn it in. Let's max the graphics out and let's go. I'm doing like a light difficulty playthrough just to see the story.
Yeah.
Because Survivor actually looks kind of dope, and Fallen Redhead actually looks more like, middle-aged Redhead. So maybe, the young characters kind of tend to be that way, right? They're just like, they're generic. They're young. They haven't done anything. No sin. They're just kind of fresh-faced. And I feel like I saw there was beard options, I think, in Survivor.
Yeah, Survivor's got beards.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I think maybe this is going to get interesting. They let them make another one. They were interested enough to make another one. I've been ignoring this one too long. Let's give it a go. And I own it. I bought it literally and just never played it. Really,
Respawn makes a hell of a video game. I wish they'd make a third Titanfall, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But I am very excited about the new game. I will say that.
It's actually it's actually production value's really good on it.
Yeah.
Like it's actually really, this is actually a really impressive game. I think we shit on it quite a bit. Like the meme is the most notable thing about it that we've discussed, but actually this game is like pretty. It deserves a lot of praise, especially because it's EA. Oh, EA sucks. I'm like, they actually, Respawn EA, like they actually released an awesome title here. I was like, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
So
Very excited about it. When's
It's
that next
super
one?
good. I'm glad someone's finally playing it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I feel like I was one of the biggest, like, I don't know. And then I was the only one that ended up, you guys were trying to convince me. Come on, John, give it a chance.
Yeah.
And then I did, and then I was the only one who played it. And I was like, are you guys going to play
played
this
it, but
game
I
you
didn't
talked me into?
I just
I
didn't
fell
finish
off
it. I
for
fell off
reasons.
as well. Yeah, that's my mistake.
It's
I've
really
no,
good. It's
yeah.
got a hell of an ending, too.
yeah.
Now that Survivor's coming, I'm just like, no, I need to know. I want to. This is some games like Vertigo 2. I don't need to play Vertigo 1. Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But Jedi Survivor, I'm like, I think I want to play the first one. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like I want to experience it. So.
It's pretty cool. Well, good. I'm glad you had time with that. What else?
That's it.
Oh, you saw
Tetris
the
movie.
Oh, was the
Yeah.
Tetris? Give us an up or down on that. Worth seeing or no?
Mid.
Mid.
It's mid.
Okay.
Mid. Enjoyable.
Yeah.
But definitely like inflated in that way that Hollywood movies they didn't. There's a car chase. The Russians are gonna get you. Oh no! And I'm like, I don't. Nobody chased that guy for the Tetris rights in a car chase. Like this is just movie.
Yeah, I
bullshit.
think they-
You know what I
I
mean?
think-
Like stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
tried to intrigue it up a little with KGB stuff and all that. But.
Yeah, they really played that. Like to me, that's the least interesting thing. The one good part was when they were both like coding together. Like
Yeah.
try this and try. I'm like, no, do that movie. Do the movie about the.
They don't
making-
trust the
yeah.
audience to be okay with that. I think we would have loved a more pure approach
very,
to
it's
it.
it's very like openly critical of communism and of capitalism and all the isms. It's,
Cronyism.
these Russians have nothing. And this
Nepotism.
capitalist bastard wants to take all your money. I'm like, that's true, but it doesn't say anything new that better movies haven't dramatized before.
Why is
There's
that
nothing
familiar,
earth-
though? What is that? Oh, it's from No Brother Where Art Thou, where he goes, nepotism. Cronyism. That guy. I love that guy.
Yeah. There's better movies that have like served up. There's nothing new here, and that's a lot of it. But it's well produced and like it's good performances. I like Eggy, Taggart.
Oh,
Jason,
Edgerton,
I don't know what his
Edgerton
name
guy?
is, but-
Yeah, he's good. His brother's good, too. I think they're
Yeah,
related.
Taron Edgerton, I think is his name.
Yeah, I like his older brother who does other cool things.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good cast and fun. Mid, worth your time. Don't go out of your way.
All right. Well, if you got Apple TV Plus, which is cheap, it's on there, so you can watch it there. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to rip through some news that we didn't talk about already, and we're going to do an email and some other stuff. So stick around. Oh, we got Dear Martha and all that. So stick around for all that. That's coming up. Will be 5 minutes or something. Stay tuned.
It'll be quick.
All right, go pee or whatever you got to do. I'm going to save this. Chat room. We'll be back momentarily. It will not hardly feel like any time has passed, okay? I'm going to put on a little bit of the old hold music. Yeah, we'll use that. And that'll play here for a second, and then we'll be back. Okay? See you in a second. Hang in there. Okay,
There you go.
we're back. Oh my gosh. My wife had questions. I'm like, I gotta go. She's like, it's fast. I said, I know, but I got 5 minutes, or then I did, now I don't.
Hey, it's fine. This show's going long. You take the time you need.
It is a long one. All right. Let me get back to the thing. Hang on
Try
one
fingers,
second.
butthole.
Fingers, butthole. What? I heard something about finger and a butthole.
Yeah,
I
Elden Ring.
think Bo's giving Dark Souls or Elden Ring tips.
Oh,
Try fingers, butthole.
wow. Well, there you have it. We're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. It's time for us to continue down this path. Oh, that's weird. Hold on one second. Something's funky.
We're not back.
Well,
Nope.
we are, but I think my software thinks we're not. Hold on.
Remember when I said we were back? I lied.
I lied the whole time. Okay, now it's working. Weird. Anyway, that was a bug. Thanks, Audition. We're back, and we got Dear Martha all lined up. So we're all set to go here. John, anything special before we hit play?
Nope, just Martha.
Here we go.
My dearest Martha, we've spent a few weeks reading weird, unpronounceable names of magazines, one-off oddities, and magazines so pleased with themselves you can literally hear them high-fiving on the newsstand. But today, Martha, we get back to GamePro, issue 97 from October of 1996. Just a totally normal gaming magazine. Nothing weird going on here at all. Well, except for John Madden yelling, "Pigskin Special" at me on the cover. And the reminder that GamePro TV was a thing on the sports channel. And that the sports channel was a thing for a while. But other than those things, it's just back to the basics with the magazine today. Well, it also reminded me that the Samsung GX TV was a thing. A horrible abomination of a TV thing. With its speakers that acted as a cover for the CRT screen. I'll be honest, I probably wanted one, but my god, TVs were awful back then. Anyway, we are on the cusp of the launch of the Nintendo 64 here in the USA, and as a result, everyone is really worried about the cost of video games. The letters section shows great concern that N64 games could cost $95 in the US, but people are also really worried about them most likely costing $70.
Whoa.
You know, the price people are so upset about games costing 27 years later. It also has a lot of people worried that their old systems will no longer be supported as the new systems come out. You know, that thing people still get surprised about 27 years later. But I'm sure you noticed that wonderful Boba Fett on the cover, so I can't not talk about the Star Wars games discussed in here. And Martha, they speak for themselves. Dark Forces, Rebel Assault 2, The Hidden Empire, Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, Shadows of the Empire. Martha, what are we doing? I know Disney Plus is pushing Star Wars in front of us on a weekly basis, but we used to live in a damn Star Wars video game utopia, and now it has all been bombed to hell and back like Mandalore itself. I know we're getting more Ginger Jedi action, but we need more Star Wars games. Mind my wallet. Take my money. Just make the damn games. I apologize. Anyway, this week's ad is rated C for cringe. And look, I know cringe is in itself a cringe term that gets overused. But if there is a definition of cringe, I feel like this ad is it.
Sorry.
It's an ad for a game called Steel Harbinger. And the tagline for this game, starring a very scantily clad cyber goth girl, is "Daddy's little girl is out to save the world." Pretty bad, right? Well, they double down on the daddy on this one, and they say it twice. Daddy's little girl doesn't cook, but she'll fry, bake, or roast any enemy she sees. And while the whole daddy thing does seem at least slightly tied to the story, It doesn't change that this ad makes me feel deeply uncomfortable. So you're very welcome for me sharing it with you here today. That's it. I'm out of time and out of time. Yours in time. S. Beckett 96.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed her really weird proportions. That girl, she's got, she's kind of top heavy. Look at those little spindly legs underneath. It's not good. It's not a good look, is all I'm saying. Partially because some dude
we're all
drew it.
shaped differently. Let's not make fun of Daddy's little girl. She's shaped like Daddy, probably.
Yeah. She's shaped like the weird, the vision in the head of the weirdo that drew her, that photoshopped her, or whatever they did here.
I have questions about, is there full motion video in this game? Look at the one still. It looks like
is there?
movie still.
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
actor looks familiar.
Oh,
It's like
look at that.
FMV
Right.
game.
Let's look at that closer. Yeah, I don't know who's in that. We could find out, but I don't even remember this game. Still Harbinger, right?
Still, yeah, like there must be video on YouTube of this.
Now mutilating at your local retailer on the PlayStation game console, is what they say.
Yeah,
Well,
all
good luck.
FMV cutscenes. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
almost-
yeah.
it's-
Bo went right where you needed to actually go. Just let me see.
Oh, this
the
actor's familiar.
FMV.
Hang on, who? Okay, Scott, you're good at this.
Am I?
Although maybe John will get it. But yeah, have a look at this image.
Okay.
Who's that actor? That's
Oh,
got to be somebody, right?
That's that looks like Richard Hatch. It might be.
The first winner of Survivor.
No, the guy that played Apollo in the first Battlestar
Oh,
Galactica.
right, that one.
That Richard Hatch. That might be him. Oh, it might not be though. He's also got kind of a. Oh, who's that guy in the stuff?
It's like a guy I've seen before, but I'm like, I can't.
He's in a rom-com with Speed Girl. Can't think of anyone's name. I can't think of his name.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Ed Albert Jr.
Is that his name?
I don't know. I'm just looking at
It's
comments.
not
and trying to
Eddie
find
Albert
it.
Jr. He's some old school 40s, 50s actor, I think.
Scott, you need to scrub this all cutscenes video to about 4 minutes and.
Do you have a link?
14
Give me a
seconds.
link.
Wait, I have a it's on IMDb. Cast.
Oh, okay.
Edward
Never mind.
Albert
Edward Albert, really?
as Dr. Bone.
I don't want to sideline this too far. You can look it up in your free time. But this might be a real treasure.
It
that
might
we've
be.
discovered
Okay.
here.
I love FMV video games from the 90s and 80s, or
He's
early
in
aughts.
stuff. Hang on.
Sandra
I don't
Bullock,
know.
that's what I meant to say.
Chinaman's Chance, America,
Chinaman's Chance.
America's Other Slaves. I don't know
What?
what that's about.
Holy
It
shit.
looks like a kung fu movie. It's got Danny Trejo, and
Known for his kung fu, right?
it's the only person I recognize. And that one,
Yeah.
Midway, Butterflies Are Free, Galaxy of Terror. B movie actor. Must have seen him in B movies. Yeah. Oh, he's in some Power Rangers movies. Okay.
Oh, well,
Scott, there is some crazy fun GIF stuff for you in this.
please put that in our Discord so I can peruse it later because I want.
Hold on, I'm gonna put a time-stamped one in the chat that you can
All right.
do. Let me just
Let's see this
get
business.
it here. Start at copy because I'm doing it on a different computer, so I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay.
There,
I'm watching. I'm watching.
there you go.
All right. Copy link.
Yeah.
Put it in.
This is the magic here.
If it's
I was
good.
Star
This
Trek
reminds
Space
me
Jam.
of gifts that you share when you say goodnight to people.
Oh, really? Because I do like doing those. All right. Hold on. Here, chat. I'm going to let you see it too. Here we go. Let's get a little volume on this. Okay. I'm going to hit play. Here we go. This is a time-stamped one. Oh, my gosh.
Scientists at the Nematode Institute have discovered a revolutionary treatment to reverse the balding process. These genetically engineered worms will burrow into your head with very little pain. And in less than 24 hours, you can have a full head of worms and look 20 years younger. With headworms, you're covered.
This guy kind of looks like you, Scott.
Oh, don't say that. Don't tell me that.
No.
Not exactly, but there's some similar facial structure business.
Great.
Not
That's
the
great.
bald. Scott's not bald. I'm bald.
I'm
He's
not bald. Not yet. I'm getting there. I'm
So I
receding.
think I recognize he was played a Bajoran in one episode of Deep Space Nine.
Oh. All right.
I probably recognize him from something like that. Yeah,
So
this
he
guy's
was,
got extensive credits, but
Ribbed for our pleasure on
character
Star
actor.
Trek. Fantastic.
Yeah, sorry, rabbit hole. But I was like, that guy's so familiar looking.
Well, rabbit holes or not, we got these things to tear through. Check this out. Some news we didn't talk about. These are all very quick. Redfall won't have 60 frame per second mode on Xbox at launch. People are pissed. They're acting like the world is ending. PC people are being predictably goobers about it. Whatever. They'll have a performance mode later, they said, and those people will be fine with their 60 frames. At the moment, though, you're going to play at 30 at 4K. So enjoy that little bit of info there.
Enjoy that at a slower speed.
At a slower frame
Then you
rate, sure.
probably want to play.
Then you'd be, yeah. I think 60 frames should be the new baseline, and I don't know why 30 is still a thing, but it's not.
At the very least, prioritized.
Yeah, prioritize it.
but-
I'd rather play at 1080p 60 on a TV that was 4K. That will look fine. That'll look great. Do that. No reason not to do that. Or 1440p.
Or push back the game.
Yeah, or push it back.
Like, Xbox is still looking for a killer app for Game Pass, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, what has been the killer app of Game Pass? Like, to me, the thing that I've been most grateful for Game Pass for is that multiple times there were indie games I wanted that were free on there that I didn't have to pay for.
Yeah.
Like, Halo was a disappointment in a couple ways.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these games that are coming out are disappointments. Like, it's worth it for your brand and your service to make sure that any game you launch on there, especially if it's your in-house studios, is perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree, but the
anyway.
PC version of it on Game Pass will be 60 plus. It'll be 144 if you can handle it. So PC people are excited, I guess, as you would be. Let's see. PlayStation Plus is losing Spider-Man from the roster for PlayStation Plus subscription, which is weird and dumb, and I don't know why you would take your first-party stuff off of your subscription service. Maybe that's because we're used to Game Pass not doing that, but I think it's weird, and people are mad about that too. Sony likes money. And then a massive delay for Kill the Justice League. This thing is now pushed to February of next year. Second big delay. I'll bet you they're ripping that microtransaction shit right out of that game if they're putting a year on this.
They did that recent. If it sounds like this is something we talked about recently, it was. It got pushed back what we thought was going to be about a month. There was a lot of speculation that that had something to do with all these games as a service features that had been kind of leaked in screenshots and stuff like that.
Oh.
But a lot of people pointed out a month is not enough time to restructure the game. Now they have until February of next year, which is a shockingly long time compared to what they were thinking.
Yep.
They must be really worried about this.
Yeah,
game.
they have to be. There's no way they're not. So that's what I think they're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's two options. One is things are not going well for various reasons, as you said, or what if it's the best game ever and we just got to wait a little longer?
Might be.
I mean, that's the hope, right?
It's
like
Rocksteady,
everybody
right?
wants
Like,
the
yeah,
game
it's
to be
Rocksteady.
good.
Yeah.
But
if they, I mean, the feedback was so abrupt and rough on those screenshots leaking of a battle pass and all that stuff, and online all the time, all that news, that it wouldn't surprise me if they want to fundamentally gut that. And that does not, it's not something you just flip a switch on. Like, you got to do a bunch of retro work to get that done. So that's my guess.
It must be so hard to be them developing that IP. I mean, because there's such passion for DC properties, but the DCU is such a shit show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is related to it or not. I don't know. It's, the movie reception and stuff like that. Like, maybe it's not a good time.
It could be
James
something
Gunn
like that.
is part of the thing. Maybe it's better to push this game when they got something actually exciting. Although the Penguin looks awesome.
Oh, the Penguin looks so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that trailer and I got all excited. I'm so excited for that series.
I was okay with the new Batman, the Nirvana Batman. It's kind of okay. Like, it's all right. I didn't mind it. But the Penguin was the best part of that movie. Like, I liked, what is it, Justin Harrison's? No, what's his name?
His name
Keith
isn't
Harrison.
Justin Harrison. It's
I don't know.
Robert
Pattinson.
Is that who
Robert
you're
Pat,
talking
thank
about?
you. Yeah, Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson's.
So close, Bo. So
I've
close.
been watching too much Count Arthur Strong. I think it's rubbed off on me.
That's great.
Robert Pattinson's.
Justin Harrison, otherwise known as. Yeah.
Harrison. It's the same syllable structure. I got that right.
That's great.
It's all right. Like, it's fine, but Penguin was the best part. And I'm like, oh, they're making a TV show with Colin Farrell. Like, just the way he shoots the guy and laughs. I was like, oh man,
No, it looks great. It looks great.
Maybe they're just waiting for a better. I don't think it's right now is a good time to be releasing. You don't want to release your big DC game around Black Adam, Blue Beetle, and the Flash. Like,
yeah, but
I
I don't think people. I think we don't associate them together. Like, if anything, it's been harder for Marvel to succeed in this way because they're not like the movies. You know what I mean? That isn't Chris Evans being Captain America.
No, Marvel handles their video games way worse than there's arguably better DC games than there are Marvel games. On the aggregate for sure.
And on the comic side and on the animation side, DC's still kind of doing real good work. It's just you're probably not wrong, or at the very least in some meeting here recently, they're like, well, on top of all of that, maybe we'll have a better window with the reboot of the DC. They probably talked about that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Although even on the animation side, used to be DC animation was a guaranteed win, and it's not anymore. Their Injustice adaptation was terrible. Their Killing Joke adaptation was terrible. Like, they are not constantly pulling wins even on the animation
maybe not
side
every
anymore.
time, but it's still by and large the body of work there is pretty strong.
Batman Ninja is awesome.
Yeah, Under the Red Hood's amazing.
Batman versus the Ninja Turtles is one of the best Batman movies and the best Ninja Turtles movie.
Did they sing the song in there?
How much is Eastman and Laird paying you? I feel like every time TMNT comes up, you're like, it's the best.
Good. I'm telling you, if you like even just a little bit Batman and the Ninja Turtles, go out and watch that movie. It is so flippin' good.
All right. I'm going to take your word for it. It's up on Max now, they call it. I'm going to go.
Because for a while it wasn't. I had to buy it.
Oh, I thought it was there.
And I don't regret buying it.
You bought a movie called Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I did. And you know what? Proud of it, because I'm telling you, it's awesome. Go watch it, come back, and tell me I'm wrong.
2019, this is the one, right?
I never even heard of it till today. So
it was out in 2019, I think. Yeah, this is it. Okay, I'm going to find this and watch it and see what. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm start. Yeah, the reviews and the audience reviews are also high. I'm starting to wonder if John's onto something. I have to check this out. I'm gonna check it out. Tom Kenny plays the Penguin. Troy Baker is Batman and the Joker. John DiMaggio, Mr. Freeze. Pretty good cast. Darren Criss. I don't know who that is, but anyway. All right.
I don't have the voice on, but actually.
Oh, somebody just linked to the movie in chat. Is that legal? What are we doing? It's fine.
Is that the actual movie?
Well, I don't want to go to a site called fmovies.to.
Well, I clicked it like a big dummy, and yes, it's here.
Enjoy your malware.
Oh, look at that. It's just streams. What is this site? I need to know more about this.
Enjoy your band. We'll see in a month.
Whoa, weird. All right. Well, I'm not sure.
Everybody says it's fine. Just go there and watch it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, just watch it. It's awesome.
All right.
What if there are a bunch of people with malware on their computers?
It's not a malware.
You know what?
It's
you
secure.
all go down together. If a bunch of people get it, somebody will come up with a solution.
The site's secure. It's got HTTPS security stuff. All their certificates correct.
Securely delivers malware to your system.
Well, I'm on a Mac. I'll be all right. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You're fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It will be fine.
It will be fine. I think you're right.
Okay, so there you go, Scott. You have a way to watch it.
No, you did
have a way
it.
to
You
watch
did
it literally while you eat after the show, and then tell me I'm wrong.
You convinced me to do it.
That's a good question.
Let's get to this text here. This email, rather. This is an email right here. talktothecore@gmail.com is the email address. You can still send texts and voicemails to 801-471-0462, some of which will play after all of this at the end of the show. Today's eternal episode will include even more content after the music. All right, so stick around for that. But here's what this says. It's Michael who says, "Hi, Core Hounds. I'm currently a $1 a month patron subscriber. I would go up to $10 a month if Bo's mom would read the game list at the end of the show." Michael, is it worth it to just flaunt
I
her out there.
appreciate the endeavor.
Yeah,
and-
both my stepkids, and he just got braces. Like, come on.
That's so expensive.
I
braces.
wasn't sure how it was going to go because I think she was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I could tell she was nervous, and when it was done, she was ready to.
Hang it up.
She's like, "Here you go, take yeah."
You wanna
I
do
take
it
it for
again?
granted.
This
I'm
is
very
your
comfortable.
arena.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable and at ease with the idea of streaming to people.
Mm-hmm.
But you quickly forget. We have a gaming. Mike and Croft and I game with them, and we have another friend, Breck. I don't even know if he
Oh, I
wants
haven't
me to
heard
say
of
his
Breck.
name.
Okay.
But yeah, Breck's a friend, and we kind of have been recruiting him into games and stuff. But he's he's smart. He's really good at strategy games. He beats everyone constantly, but he doesn't play too many games, so there's a good information exchange going on.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like being recorded. And I like to, my friends, we make entertaining stream content. I'm usually like, you mind if I stream? Everyone's like, nope, great. He's like, yes, I mind if you should stream. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know about this dynamic.
Wow.
I think if you're going to play games with us, you're going to have to say yes sooner or later, or,
Or you're not playing? Sort of
Well,
thing.
it's just how I play games. I like to have the memories and, and
Sure.
make money. And they're entertaining. So, anyways, he's nervous. My mom was nervous.
Everyone's
I can
nervous.
just tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think.
Much
don't
as
think
I would
it'll work.
like an additional $9 a month, I don't want to make anybody.
No. No, so here's what I would do.
I don't think she would do as good a job. Or I guess if we were laughing because of it, it wouldn't be for the right reason. Because
Right.
she'd probably be trying hard, and it would be like, what a grandma.
She'd feel bad.
I wouldn't feel nice. I wouldn't feel good about that.
No, I wouldn't either. I would feel bad for your mom. She was very
Unless
sweet.
she was
when
in on the
there.
joke, yeah. And technically, not a grandma. None of her kids have kids.
Oh.
So,
John
Yeah.
or Bo, get on. I can tell you how that works. You just got to put your wiener in a vagina, and then
so my brother's gay, so he can't make kids with his partner.
Wasn't giving advice to your brother.
I know how to do it, but I don't have any Courtney holes in my life right now. And my sister does not want to have kids, like full determination. They're both like, nope, kids are out, even though she has a husband and they have the requisite chemistry tools. I don't know. I was trying to say something funny.
they have the
there,
right
but,
tools. I understand. Yeah.
They've
I can't
got.
imagine why Bo's mom might be uncomfortable to come onto this show.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about how to put people's parts together. Yeah, no, it's all good. I know it's not going to happen in every family, but I can tell you
The
that.
Courtney Holes thing, by the way, just in case somebody doesn't listen to the pre-show, that's a callback to pre-show.
Oh yeah, and it's
I
me,
might-
not him. He didn't.
Somebody who doesn't have that context might be just think I call ladies Courtney Holes.
Yeah,
and think
she
it's
didn't
funny,
do
like
that.
a misogynist male. No, it's about Courtney Love, and it's a whole thing.
It's
Listen
a whole
to the pre-show.
thing about how I could
Stub
never remember her
on
name.
Patreon.
I would forget Love, and I'd always say Courtney Hole because I thought that was her name. I really did think it was her name for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's yes. Thank you for the disclaimer.
Like Van Halen or Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
Courtney
think of it
Hole.
that way.
He legitimately thought that. It's not a joke.
I really did.
We're not misogynists.
No, not intentionally anyway.
We try not to be. It slips out.
We're just white
It slips
cis
out. A little
men
misogyny slips out sometimes.
flopping
We don't
around
need to.
trying to figure out life as the rest of you do. All right, we are going to blow out of here. Before I do, though, man, this list of new patrons, I don't even know what to do with you people. You guys are amazing. These people joined up in the last 7 days. Keelan T, Jason, Mullagrub, Christopher, Lenart, I think. Lenart? That's much easier to say. Brian, Eboff.
Okay, sorry, keep going.
Somebody named Eboff.
Eboff.
I love that name. Matthew Bach, I know him. He's awesome. Tony Allen Price. There's no Prince. It's just Price. That one tech guy. And let's see, Ryan. Also, Hugh Manpoo. Now, that might be a totally real name. It might be 100% a real name.
Come on. That's
We
a
don't know.
supporter now.
We don't know. I'm just saying his name is Hugh Manpoo, unless I'm saying it wrong. It's possible. I do it all the time.
It's all. No offense to Hugh or who, but it's pretty close to something Bart would say to try and get Mo to say, right? Like huge man poo. Like, it's close.
I need
but,
a man to hug and kiss. The whole
Look,
thing.
you're in good company. You can call me Boner. I have, I have
You can call me Courtney Hole. It's
juvenile
fine.
names.
Trevor Brown also rounding out that list. You guys are amazing. We love you all, and thank you so much for making the show be what it is. Stay on the air and keep the lights on. Very shortly, you're going to get a very special host bonus episode for the month from Bo. We don't even know what the topic is. He's just going to make something rad.
I don't know yet either. It's part of the delay. I was like,
it's going to be
I
real
keep
good,
coming
though.
up with ideas. I'm like, I want to bitch about racing and video games. I'm like, no, I don't want to be negative.
Oh,
I'm going back and forth. So
if you
it's
bitch
experimental, but I'm going to do one this weekend.
If you bitch about racing, does that make you racist, but not in the way we think of? You know what I mean? More race, like racing?
I think so. I think if you hate races, like driving races,
right, you're racist.
You're racist.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. It shares the term. Yeah.
If you hate toilets, you're a toilet cyst.
A toilet cyst.
I hate when you get a toilet cyst.
Yeah. You get that.
Not
I
to
know
be
where you get
confused
those.
with toilet cyst.
Yeah. SYST.
And if you don't like, what else is there? If you don't like steam, you're a steam assist.
The steam assist. No, steam cyst. Wait,
steam cyst.
Stream. I don't know what it is. Anyway, the point is, thanks to you guys, we get to do all this extra stuff. You get art in the mail, pre-show content every single week, and more. And you never get an ad. That's right. Join up today and learn why these people did what they did. Patreon.com/core show. That's patreon.com/core show. Not hard to do twice, Scott. That's going to do it for us. Send us your comments, your thoughts, your feelings. Everything is located over at frogpants.com/core. We now turn the microphone over to Grandma, who will tell us what we played today.
Oh, hey, thank God I didn't close out the sheet, which I almost did. Anyway, everybody played Everspace 2. That's the space game. And Scott and Bo played Wartales. It's in 1.0 release. I added that. Scott played Full Metal Sergeant, where he was a drill instructor yelling at people. He also played Scarlet Tower, which is a survivors-like, much like that critically acclaimed Vampire Survivors game, which is, I just hear the bee's knees. He also played Hellslave, and then changed it to Hellslave, and everyone lost interest in anything he was talking about. At least I did. John continues to play Resident Evil 4 Remake. He murdered Sonic the Hedgehog, and he played Diablo 2 Resurrected because he says it looks better than Diablo 4. Get in the comments, everybody. Get in the comments now.
Yeah.
Bo played Vertigo 2 in VR, which is what happens to me when I play VR. He played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a game I can remember the title, despite that not being what he wrote on the sheet. And he watched the Tetris movie, because apparently we're celebrating the watching of films on this show now.
Yeah, it's a new trend here on Core, which will be back. We'll be back here next week with another fine episode. Will you be here with us? Well, that's up to you to decide. I hope you will. That's going to do it for us. For me and these two chuckleheads. We'll see you next week.
If you like what you just heard, there's a very good chance you will like all the shows on the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Link, you must find me.
Oh, you know what we didn't do?
What?
We didn't even talk about the new Zelda trailer, which is where I got that audio.